Out of every winter comes spring. That familiar warmth reminding us baseball is back. It is a fresh start, hope renewed, another chance. It is a new season with infinite possibilities. The wait is over. Spring has sprung.
Spring has arrived in Phoenix, Arizona, and it's another beautiful day in the Cactus League. We welcome you to Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin, and this afternoon, it's the Brew Crew and the Cleveland Indians from beautiful Maryvale Baseball Park in Phoenix. And hi, everybody. We welcome you. Great to have you with us once again. Brian Anderson along with Bill Schroeder. Looking forward to our matchup today. Spring training baseball here in late February. And big news here today. Really the biggest news of the offseason as far as position players go will be Ryan Braun and his ability or lack of ability to play first base. But he's in the lineup today for the first time. He's not playing first base, but he's in there today.
Well, with all the outfielders that the Brewers have, Craig Counsell just trying to figure out a way to get everybody in the mix. Ryan Braun, no stranger to new positions. Remember, third base, then left field, right field, back to left. Now he's going to try first base, but out in left field. But it's all for Ryan Braun, just trying to keep him healthy. You figure 125, 130 games would be the goal. So whatever mix would be best for the Brewers and keeping that outfield, consistent and giving them playing time, I think you're going to see Ryan against left-handed pitching, maybe at first base from time to time, but it's all about keeping the great eight in the lineup as much as you can and getting the most out of your offense when you have different pitchers out there on the mound against you.
It has been very interesting to watch. Ryan Braun working hard at first base, corner outfield spots in the lineup for the first time here this afternoon. Spring training baseball, the Tribe and the Brew Crew, and it's next. And the blue sky and the green grass. Getting ready for spring training baseball from Maryvale Baseball Park, the spring training home of the Brewers. We want to welcome all of our friends watching on Fox Sports Ohio as well, the television home of the Cleveland Indians. Indians and the Brew Crew this afternoon. Terry Francona and the Tribe putting together a respectable lineup today. It is early in spring training, and remember that Joe Torre has waived some of the rules that used to be you'd had to have 3 or 4 major league players in every lineup or else you'd get fined. But because spring training started so early, it's a little different. So this is what the lineup looks like. Bradley Zimmer, who will be the everyday center fielder for the Indians. He'll lead off and be the designated hitter. Greg Allen, the switch hitter, plays center. Lonnie Chisenhall's in right. In the middle of the order, it's Abraham Almonte, the switch hitter. Roberto Perez will catch, and Bobby Bradley will be at first base. And then the bottom 3, Richie Schaefer, Gio Urshela, and Eric Gonzalez. There is Craig Counsell, the manager of the Milwaukee Brewers. And Craig Counsell starting this spring training campaign with a split squad game, has now been able to get into a more normal routine with the first week of games underway. And Junior Guerra, his starting pitcher today, will hit the mound behind the Brewers. Right now, the top 3 spots in the Brewers rotation are pretty much a lock. Junior Guerra, Bill Schroeder, would be part of the group that is battling for the final 2 spots in the rotation. You basically think about it as a 5 pitcher for 2 spots, and Guerra wants to lay his claim. He was last year's opening day starter.
Yeah, very disappointing season for him. Last year he spent 2 different stints on the disabled list and a forgettable season after a terrific first season with the Brewers. Junior, 33 years old, out of Venezuela, making his first start. He has made an appearance out of the bullpen for Craig Counsell. That was on Friday. We could see last year a season to forget, a .512 earned run average. They made 21 appearances, 14 of those starts, and Junior played some winter ball this year and worked out some of his mechanical issues and feels as though he's throwing the baseball pretty well now.
Second spring training appearance for Guerra. Check the defense behind him. It is the first spring training game of 2018 for Ryan Braun. It is not at first base. He'll be in left field for a few days. He'll probably be at first base later in the week. Lorenzo Cain, Keon Broxton make up the rest of the outfield, and then the infield around the horn is Perez, Sogard, VR, and Ji-Man Choi, with Manny Pena doing the catching. So a lot of familiar names in the Brewers starting lineup today, and a number of players in the starting lineup that will be on that opening day starting lineup and roster as well. So the pieces in place. We're ready for baseball from Phoenix. Home plate umpire this afternoon is Nick Lenz. Mike Everett, Jim Reynolds, and Nick Marley are the base umpires. And digging in is Bradley Zimmer, talented young center fielder who is the designated hitter today. And Zimmer ready to face Junior Guerra as we get underway from Phoenix. And Guerra deals strike 1, and off we go.
That fastball command very important for Junior, as it is for every pitcher, but yeah, velocity down last year, and the split-fingered fastball just did not really respond the way it did the previous season. And Junior feeling as though that's a lot about mechanics, which he was working on pretty hard during the offseason.
Guerra now 33 years of age. First start of the spring. His last time out he pitched in relief, but he'll be one of the pitchers competing for one of those rotation spots. Guerra was a late bloomer, didn't make it to the big leagues until he was 30. Former catcher, converted to the mound with the Atlanta Braves 12 years ago. How about that? He has had a nice long career, but hasn't quite been able to establish himself as an everyday big league pitcher after his great season in Milwaukee in 2016, where he ended up as the Brewers pitcher of the year. Back in that underdog role again. There's Derek Johnson, the Brewer pitching coach. We're hoping to hear from Derek today. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Bradley Zimmer. And he lines one right at Sogard, and that's how the day begins. A line drive out and 1 away.
Always good to have the luxury of having a guy like Sogard that can back you up at shortstop. Let's have a number of guys that are going to be on the team that can play short, and a nice play by Sogard to start the day defensively. It's one of the things that the Brewers need to clean up, their defense from a year ago.
Brewers are fortunate to have 3 players who can play that shortstop position. The starter is Orlando Arcia, but Sogard is capable at the shortstop position, and Hernan Perez can play the position as well. That gives Craig Counsell a lot of flexibility. Here's Greg Allen, one of Cleveland's top prospects. He gets the call in center field today. Good to see Terry Francona. What a ride it's been for the Indians the last couple of seasons. All the way to the World Series 2 years ago. Last year, a bit of a surprising and disappointing early exit from the postseason after being up 2-0 on the Yankees in the American League Division Series. Lost the next 3 and was eliminated by New York. But a magical year last year nonetheless, that included a 22-game winning streak last season.
Yep, 102 and 60 for the Cleveland Indians, and I guess arguably one of the better pitching staffs in all of baseball, backing up, pretty good offense. And Terry Francona has really become one of the best managers in the big leagues. I mean, look at his credentials, impressive.
Had a great run with the Red Sox. Brought that franchise to a World Series title. Good looking off speed pitch, and Allen is a strikeout victim. 2 up and 2 down for Junior Guerra, and looked like he went with his bread and butter there.
Yeah, good to see it having good action already. Didn't have a whole lot of movement on it, but right down and away, and see Allen way out in front of it. Good pitch by Junior.
2 gone. Here comes Lonnie Chisenhall. Guerra facing a ton of hitters off the left side to start it. Chisenhall on the first pitch beats the shift. A base hit. Wasting no time. Lonnie Chisenhall is aboard.
That low fastball, and Junior much more successful, at least a couple of years ago. High fastball, splitter in the dirt. And he puts that one right into the wheelhouse of Lonnie Chisenhall. Base hit.
So a base runner with 2 away. And it's Abraham Almonte. Another switch hitter. Indians go left-hander, switch hitter, left-hander, switch hitter to start their lineup today. Brewers have Brent Suter scheduled to pitch. They're hoping to get 2 innings out of Junior Guerra. 2 innings or 35 pitches, whichever comes first. And a swing and a foul off the foot of Almonte. Brent Suter scheduled to pitch. Oliver Drake is on the list today. Tyler Webb, the big lefty.
Right off the inside of the leg. That's going to feel good.
Do those hurt worse in February than they do in June? It's got to be one of the first ones.
Yeah. Well,
Just
now he's ready.
Remind you.
He's got a sore spot already in spring training.
No balls and a strike on Almonte. Cleveland will have Josh Tomlin on the mound today. One of the best control pitchers in the game. Dan Otero on the list. Neil Ramirez, Evan Marshall. Jeff Beliveau is scheduled to pitch as well. So early, and it is unusually early to be starting spring training games. We're already a week into this. We flipped to week 2 of spring training games. Schedule began last Friday, and not a whole lot of time for the position players to settle in. Just 2 or 3 days, depending on the organization, from the time position players were scheduled to report and games started.
And they love every minute of that. I mean, spring training long enough, but when you consider maybe a week before games actually start, guys get bored. But the early start to spring training, the season starts early. The Major League Baseball has added more off days in the regular season, so it'll end just about the same time as it always has. It's a good idea.
3 balls and a strike with a runner at first, and Almonte on the ground, right to Choi, knocks it down, and he hits Guerra, who just gets a toe on the bag in time. Not the prettiest out, but it was effective. All that PFP earlier today coming in handy. Sports Wisconsin. Indians and the Brewers. Indians fail to score in the first. Now Craig Counsell ready to roll out his lineup. Brewers come into this game today with a spring training record of 3-1. And it'll be Jonathan Villar to start it, Lorenzo Cain, then Ryan Braun. First game for Ryan Braun. Thames, Perez, and Choi in the middle with Broxton, Pena, and Sogard rounding out the starting 9. Lineups brought to you by Potawatomi. And on the mound for the Cleveland Indians, right-hander Josh Tomlin. 26 starts last year and a 10-game winner.
Yeah, 33 years old, out of Tyler, Texas. His 9th season, all with the Cleveland Indians. 10-9 last year, earned an average just under 5.
Making his spring training debut here today as he misses up and away to Villar. Jonathan back in the mix and hoping for a bounce-back season after an extraordinary 2016, a year where Villar led the major leagues in stolen bases at 62. Had a down year last year and is working on better plate discipline this season. Put some of those principles into play in winter ball this offseason. Matter of fact, he studied video of Joey Votto.
There you go. Nobody has better plate discipline than Joey Votto for sure. It'll always be nice to see VR be able to grasp hold of that leadoff spot. So that's a very important spot in any batting order. He was tried a lot of different guys there last year.
Not the best day and the best pitcher to work on your plate discipline with, because Josh Tomlin is a strike throwing machine. Led the majors in the fewest walks per 9 innings last year. Just misses off the plate.
Yeah, he walked only 14 batters in 141 innings last year. That's incredible.
Tomlin played his college ball at Texas Tech University in Lubbock. Look out. The new netting pays off. They just put these new nets down the dugouts this year. That was right into the middle of one.
What a great idea.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Villar, the Brewers' leadoff hitter here in the bottom of the first. And a swing and a miss. Tomlin opens his day with a punch out.
Yeah, Tomlin mixes it up pretty well. He's got 3 different fastballs. Sinker, 4-seamer, cutter, slider. A couple of off-speed pitches. So really 5 pitches that you have to be aware of with this guy.
Here's the Indians defensively. Almonte Allen and Chisenhall in the outfield. Schaefer, Urshela, Gonzalez, and Bradley go around the horn. Roberto Perez behind the plate for Cleveland. And here is Lorenzo Cain. Familiar opponent for Cleveland fans, with Lorenzo Cain, the longtime Kansas City Royal, signing a multi-year deal with the Brewers. Big free agent acquisition of the offseason for Milwaukee. This is his first game in this ballpark.
A lot bigger as far as bulky than we saw him when he was first a Brewer.
It was an old Royals jersey with Lorenzo Cain. High fly ball to right. That's going to hang up for Chisenhall. And Tomlin has retired his first 2 batters. Two gone. Here comes Ryan Braun, his first spring training appearance of the year. Normally you don't see Ryan Braun until usually the second week of spring training games, but even though we're into the second week, I think it was important for Ryan to get in some games and start the process. Ultimately, he's going to need to play some games at first base to determine whether that's going to be an option this year.
I can't imagine why it wouldn't be an option. I mean, he's a great athlete, great baseball instincts.
And his first at-bat of the spring ends up as a base hit. Clean single to center field. And the Brewers have a man on.
Well, Ryan does this about as well as anybody. I mean, lets the ball travel, quick hands, right to the baseball. And that's a perfect swing. I mean, that's mid-season form right there. He threw that guy batting practice Christmas morning. He probably put that swing together right there. It's just natural.
As a swing that has been unchanged and unaltered since he was in high school. Thames takes a strike. Eric Thames in there as the designated hitter today. Eric feeling a lot more settled this year than he was this time a year ago. After 3 years in Korea, coming to the Brewers on a 3-year contract, and all new to him. He did have a run through the big leagues with Seattle and Toronto before he went to Korea and turned himself into a star there, MVP of the Korean baseball organization, and a larger than life figure.
Well, you remember him in spring training last year. He was taking a lot of pitches early in spring, just trying to get acclimated once again to the velocity that you see in the major league level. You don't see too much over in Korea. But whatever he did to get ready for last year, do the same this year. I mean, what an April he did have.
He had a great start to the season and a great finish to the season, but he made a name for himself in Korea in those 3 years where he became a household name over there. And I think a lot of folks thought he would just play out the rest of his career. Why would you leave a place where you're so revered? But he always had it in his mind. He wanted to test his skills in the big leagues. Strikeout victim in his first at-bat of the day. Braun a single in his first at-bat of the spring. We're off and running at Maryvale. No score. Guerra is back out there for a second inning of work. He'll face Roberto Perez, Bobby Bradley, and Richie Schaefer. And on the first pitch, a fly ball into right field. Keon Broxton's out there today. And one away on one pitch in this second inning for Guerra.
Yeah, that fastball command so important for Junior, especially early in the count. You know, hitters, the scouting report on Junior is attack the fastball when the splitter's working, very difficult to hit. And it's important for Junior to have good command of the fastball early in the count, first, second pitch.
Word is that Guerra's fastball velocity is back up a few ticks. He had lost some velocity last year in his terrific year of 2016, he was consistently riding a fastball in the 93 to 95 mile an hour range, and every now and then he'd hit 96. But we did not see that kind of velocity last year. He pitched winter ball this offseason in his native Venezuela and has come into spring training looking like mid-season form, and I'm sure it's an important spring for him, and he wanted to make sure that was the case.
And coaches were impressed in his first bullpen session this spring.
High fly ball, deep right center. That is way back, and Bradley off the top of the wall. Extra bases, he'll pull up at second. That missed being a home run by a foot or so. As Bobby Bradley launches one to the deep regions here at Maryville. Remember, it's 400 feet into the right center alley.
And another low fastball. That's the same pitch that Chisenhall was able to attack in his at bat. He got a base hit. Junior much more effective up in the zone with that fastball. Fastball down, ends up ripping it off the right field fence.
400-foot doubles are pretty common here in the Cactus League in Arizona. These are big dimensions typically in all the ballparks, especially here at Maryville.
Ball carries well down here.
Until you really get that good warm up with the wind blowing out, it can play very big. Second hit for the Indians. Chisenhall has the other. First extra base hit. Richie Schaefer at the plate for Cleveland. On the ground, that's going to get through. Base hit. Heading in is Bradley. He'll score easily. And the Tribe on the board first. Back-to-back hits. Schaefer with an RBI single.
When you get that fastball down, it's got to be on the corners. Preferably with a right-hander down and away. And beats that one into the ground, hit it hard right back into center field. And the Indians strike first.
How about Schaefer? This guy already has 5 RBIs this spring. Trying to leave a lasting impression with a big league manager. Doesn't figure into the plans for the Indians to start the season, but you swing the bat like that,
yeah,
you'll leave a memory for sure.
Just ask Jesus Aguilar about that, right? Nobody expected Aguilar to make the team. He had a terrific spring training. You never know.
One out, runner at first, Gio Urshela. Urshela gets the start at shortstop today. Cleveland has Eric Gonzalez playing second. A couple of players that they are grooming into utility roles. Indians with one of the great shortstops in the game, Francisco Lindor, who's been an all-star the last 2 years. That is not a position that is available right now for Cleveland. What a lineup they have, though. I mean, their ball club, just in general, they are loaded once again. They figure to be the front runner in the American League Central again. Great pitching staff led by Corey Kluber, who is on the mound tomorrow for Cleveland. The reigning Cy Young Award winner in the American League will make his spring training debut tomorrow against Oakland. That'll be in Goodyear, which is the Indians' spring training home.
Yeah, good as it gets at starting rotation for the Cleveland Indians. Matter of fact, they stayed healthy, about as healthy as you can possibly be. The Indians only used 7 different starting pitchers last year. These guys were able to make their starts, keep that consistency, and you wonder how long that lasts, right? I mean, good health is usually imperative if you're going to be a winner.
Well, not only did Corey Kluber win the Cy Young Award, but Carlos Carrasco finished 4th in the Cy Young Award voting last year. He's the #2 starter. Indians did have some disappointing news to report yesterday. They had to place Cody Anderson on the 60-day disabled list. Cleveland did claim a pitcher off waivers, Ben Taylor. Right elbow surgery, Cody Anderson. Our old friend Carlos Torres is with Cleveland in camp, and they just signed Matt Belisle as well, so they've got some pieces, as most teams do, to fill in their bullpen, but their starting rotation is stacked up pretty well. I'd say they have as much depth as anybody in the game at this time of the year. And a powerful lineup. Full count. Gio Urshela, the runner goes, and did he go? He did. No, he didn't. I beg your pardon. They say he did not swing. That'll be a walk.
They tried to throw the split-fingered fastball to get him to chase. He started it, but able to hold up. Big high leg kick. Here starts the bat. Yep, he did hold up. It's blocked by Pena.
Mid-season form, the Brewer catcher. He's a great defender. So 2 men are on now with 1 away. Eric Gonzalez. Guerra pitching in his 2nd inning. First time around to go multiple innings.
Batting for Cleveland, number 9, second baseman Eric Gonzalez.
9th man in the Cleveland batting order. A run is in on a Richie Schaefer RBI single after Bobby Bradley is doubled off the right center field wall. Little chopper, going to be a tough play, and Perez makes it look easy. No problem. Got a nice easy hop. 2 away in the inning.
He's got that big arm G-man throw with a big stretch.
G-man can do the splits.
Yes, he can.
He's got some flexibility.
Batting number 4, the leadoff hitter.
Maybe we'll see that before the day's over. The day of the first baseman splits.
Well, he started the split, but that ball got to him so quickly from Perez that he realized he didn't have to stretch that far. Big arm over there at third base.
Top of the order. Here's Bradley Zimmer again. Lined out to short his first time up last inning. He's up there with runners at 2nd and 3rd. Zimmer coming back from an ankle injury. I beg your pardon, a hand injury. Broke his hand last year. Michael Brantley is coming back from the ankle injury. 2 of their key outfield pieces this season. Good looking young player right here, Bradley Zimmer. Is down 0-2. First of 3 matchups this spring between the Brewers and the Indians. We'll see him again here at Maryville on March 11th. Little jam shot, shallow center field. Sogard, the shortstop, is back, and he's got it to end the inning. Cleveland on the board, though. They get an RBI single from Richie Schaefer. And the Tribe with a 1-0 lead. Brewers coming up. We're headed to the bottom of the 2nd. bright sunny day in Phoenix. Josh Tomlin back out for his second inning of work.
Now, have you ever come out here for a game that you haven't broadcast? I'll be honest.
There's a line drive into left, and it's caught for out number one.
Well, certainly. I mean, we come to the sponsor events, right? Sponsor weekend's coming up,
Okay.
and you come to the barbecue and you watch the game. You've sat out there before.
Of course I've been here when we're not working, Rock.
It's a nice time. It's the best seat in the house.
What kind of question is that?
I know. I'm just,
I mean, I was fine with the question until you said be honest.
I saw the look on your face. Like, what are you asking me that for?
I mean, I didn't know we were being honest. I thought we were doing what we normally do up here and just make up lies. It's kind of the way. That's kind of the way we function, right? I didn't know we were being honest this year.
Yeah, we're being honest.
I guess so. Expectations are high with the ball club, and so expectations are now high with the announcers.
Right, step it up.
Got to be honest. We're always honest.
Bottom line, it's a good seat out there.
It is.
It's fun.
G-Man Choi takes a ball. Yeah, I'm partial to the right field berm area, I think. Choi into left field, and 2 up and 2 down, both outs coming to left field. Now Monte bringing them both in.
You see a little bit of a leg kick. Not a real big one, but something to keep his back foot and his balance on his back foot.
I like his swing. He had a home run yesterday. And G-Man is making an impression with some terrific early at-bats on his manager, Craig Counsell.
Yeah.
Keon Broxton. Tomlin drops a big curveball in there for a strike.
That's the thing about what you have here in spring training with Milwaukee. You're going to have a lot of guys with big league time down in AAA this year.
There's another hook.
That's a good one, isn't it?
That looks mid-season for him.
Throwing a bunch of them and been able to throw them for strikes.
Broxton has a spring training home run already and did it against one of the more newsworthy players in the Cactus League this year, Shohei Ohtani. That was on Saturday against the Angels in Tempe. Broxton coming off a 20-20 season. 20 stolen bases, 20 homers, and this was a bomb in the second inning on Saturday afternoon.
Line drive, got out of there quickly.
Keon has great power. Fly ball, right field, routine. Glasses are on. Lonnie Chisenhall makes a catch, 3 fly ball outs. And Josh Tomlin has a successful 2 innings for the Tribe here this afternoon.
Brewers in the second, no runs, no hits, no errors, and no one left.
Pitcher, left-hander Brent Suter, second appearance of the spring. He did make a start on Friday, and Suter, who is making a run for that starting rotation, gets the ball here second up after Junior Guerra.
He's bulked up a little bit too from last year. He's got some muscle. 14 of those 22 games last year were starts. He proved to be very valuable in the bullpen for Craig Counsell and as a starter.
On the ground, and this is Sogard, throws off 1 foot in time. 1 pitch and 1 out is Greg Allen. He is retired. Suter works extremely fast, and part of the reasoning behind that, he's not a high velocity pitcher by any stretch. He actually uses tempo and pace to his advantage, and he can be very effective in the windup. I think there is an emphasis on transferring some of that to when he is in the stretch and having to deal with base runners. It's impossible to pitch at this kind of pace when you have a base runner.
Right.
Suter likes to move quickly out there. He is very assertive on the mound and extremely confident despite not having the overpowering fastball.
Well, they say his fastball is up a little bit from what it was last year. Added muscle in the upper body for Suter and in the legs. They say he gained about 20 pounds around that area. But it's not about velocity, as you mentioned. It's about deception. The quick delivery comes right at you. And he relies on that high fastball, even though he doesn't throw hard. Starts to get really quick right about here. He's coming at you all arms and legs, and he hides the ball well.
Rollover ground ball by Chisenhall, and VR puts him away for out number 2. Suter's an interesting study, getting back to, you have your pitchers and you have your throwers, and Suter's definitely a pitcher. He is a thinking man's pitcher, pores over scouting reports. He's had a terrific run through the Brewers minor league system, and I think the idea with Suter was he would actually be more effective in the big leagues because he can now utilize all the tools that are available in the big leagues. You're facing better competition as far as hitters go, but Suter, a Harvard grad, is able to file away a scouting report as well as anyone, and that's why the speed is important to him. It's the instant recall, the ability to go through hitters, certain counts, what works. Not so much in spring training. You're kind of just getting yourself in shape in spring training, but as you get into a regular season setting, game planning is a very important piece, more so for Suter than a pitcher who would have high level stuff. And Suter just carves up Almonte, and a 3-up, 3-down inning. Works right through it quickly. 2 ground balls and a punch out. And a 3-up, 3-down frame for Brent Suter in his first inning of work today. Cleveland up 1-0. Brewers coming to bat.
Hey, Brewer theme nights are back and better than ever this season. Enjoy a jam-packed lineup, including a Braun Solo bobblehead on Star Wars night, a Snoopy bobblehead on Peanuts night, and a whole lot more. Check out the complete lineup at brewers.com/theme nights.
Brent Suter, all smiles after a scoreless inning of work, having a chat there with athletic trainer Dave Yeager.
How you guys doing?
So here we go, bottom third, and it'll be Manny Pena, the Brewer catcher, to start it. Eric Sogard will follow. He's hitting ninth today, and then to the top of the order, Jonathan Villar, as Pena takes a ball. New pitcher is Dan Otero. Josh Tomlin goes 2 scoreless, giving up just 1 hit. Didn't walk a batter, had a couple of strikeouts. Good start to the spring for Tomlin, his spring training debut.
Otero had 52 appearances out of the Cleveland bullpen last year. He's had big league time with the Giants, the A's, and now the Indians, his 3rd year with Cleveland.
Well, we're pleased to be joined now by Brewer pitching coach Derek Johnson, who is kind enough to put a headset on. Hello, DJ. How are you? I don't think he can hear me. He's very stoic right now if he can.
He's waiting.
We have a gremlin in the audio box. Get that worked out. That was a pretty intimidating stare down there.
I like the glasses. Sweet.
Manny Pena swings and drives one to center field. That is way back, and it is caught by Allen. That's a good catch by Allen. Ran right to the spot, dealing with the sun and all.
Yeah, I think Manny thought he hit a home run right there. Kind of surprised that ball stayed in the ballpark. What wind there is blowing out the center. A nice play out in the center.
All right, so 1 away. I'll tell you, with no clouds in the sky like we have today, the sun shining as it is, there are no routine fly balls in the Cactus League.
This is the way it normally is. Our first broadcast on Friday. Cloud cover, making it easy for the guys, but hey, the Brewers misplayed a couple of pop-ups in that game.
Sogard flips one, and that's going to get down left center, base hit. Clean single for Sogard with 1 away. And the Brewers have a man on with 1 away and VR coming up. Let's try again, Rock. What do you say? Derek Johnson, do we have communication? No.
Yes.
Oh, we do. How you doing, DJ?
Good. How are you guys?
You had a nice little, we gave you a great setup, by the way, a moment ago that you didn't hear. And you were just staring at us in a very intimidating fashion.
Well, hey, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
I didn't know if that was Garth Brooks or Derek Johnson
Right.
down there in the Brewer dugout. Well, thank you for taking some time here. Barring a double play right here, we'll have a few minutes, but give us your thought how things are going in camp, what you're seeing from your pitchers.
Yeah, good so far. I mean, you know, you're just trying to get their feet up underneath them right away, and I thought we did a pretty good job with the pitcher-catcher stuff, and we did some things a little bit different than we have in the past, and I think the guys liked it. And you know, full camp, it was only a couple days we started games, and you know, here we are.
DJ, do you have an overall theme for your pitching staff, kind of a mantra, saying that you want your guys all to keep in mind throughout spring, entering into the season?
Well, we have a few different things that we've talked about, but I mean, the biggest stuff for us is we have to win counts, and the more counts we win, the better we feel. And you know, so really it's nothing that we all haven't kind of learned in Little League, but at the same time, I think it's good to go back to it, especially early spring, and you know, win that 0-0 count, win the 1-1, win the 2-2 as much as you can, and you put yourself in good positions to, you know, to get to that next pitch.
You know, how important is it now that you have, you know, pretty much of a core? You got a couple of spots in your rotation, I guess, to figure out, but pitching staff generally the same kind of guys, but to have, you know, the catching core intact, you know, Manny Pena, you got Jet, you know, you got Steven, and how important is that continuity?
I talked to him this morning about how important it was, as a matter of fact. I mean, you know, to me, our success on the mound, however you want to look at that, is directly influenced by our catchers, and I felt like the last 2 years our catchers we're just a really big part of that. And, so that's actually something the catchers and I talked about this morning, and just trying to continue that thought. And they do a great job with their work and their preparation. And I think, just in terms of how they interact with the pitchers, it's really good.
Visiting with Derek Johnson, the Brewers pitching coach. And DJ, as we watch Lorenzo Cain hit, the big news of the Brewers offseason was this one day where Cain and Yelich were both announced as Brewers. Cain in a free agent deal, Yelich coming from the Marlins in a trade. And I'm curious to know your reaction and what your initial thoughts were when you heard about these two deals.
I feel like it makes our pitching better. And that's certainly the way that I'm going to talk to our pitchers about, because I think those two guys are plus defenders. They can really run it down in the outfield. We have other outfielders that'll be there as well that are plenty competent. But for me, that makes your pitching staff better. If defensively you can improve, that's got to mean good things for your pitchers.
Can you describe a little bit for us, the difference of the mentality of these guys this year as opposed to last year, what you see early in spring training?
Yeah, I think as much as anything, we're comfortable with one another. Last year we were so young and we were fairly new, I think, to one another. This year, it's more like, hey, we've been through this before. We've been together, through it before, and so this year it just seems a little bit more comfortable all the way around. And of course, the new guys coming in, they're feeling that right away.
Derek Johnson, our guest from the Brewers dugout, fine pitching coach of the crew. 2 on here for Lorenzo Cain, and 1 away, and Cain drives one to right. That ball is well hit, slicing. Chisenhall is there. He'll haul it in for the out. Advancing is Sogard. So the second out of the inning, Brewers have him at the corners, and here comes Ryan Braun. Well, Derek, I know, and I know you're so into it, it's hard to step back, but just for a moment, you've been at this job now, you're coming into your 3rd year. You were a great pitching coach at the collegiate level at Vanderbilt. I mean, you were one of the most notable pitching coaches in the college game. You go into the pro game, and now you're here as a major league pitching coach settling in. Have you been able to just step back and just look at your career and the arc of your career? And when you do, what do you think about the way this path has taken you?
I think the neatest thing for me, and I say neat just because I can't really think of another word that would describe it, but the neatest thing for me is just being able to see all levels of the game. I mean, I recruited high school kids, so I saw a lot of high school games. Obviously, I coached in college. I was a minor league pitching coordinator, so I saw every level of minor league baseball and now the big leagues. So I think it's unique from a standpoint that I've seen all of those things kind of in a matter of 5 or 6 years, and it gives me a really different perspective because I do know what guys are like when they're 15. And I think if you've been in the pro game for a while, unless you have a son, and even then it might be different, but you're not very close to that high school player. And certainly as a college player, you're just waiting for him to get into the minor leagues. So, I mean, for me, as much as anything, it's just been a really cool opportunity to see kind of every level of baseball in that span of time. And I think I benefited from it, at least, in terms of understanding players, as good as I possibly can.
Well, Derek, you're doing a terrific job. You're quickly making a name for yourself, and we appreciate your time today. Look forward to visiting with you throughout the spring. Good luck with your massive pitching staff that you're trying to organize this spring.
I appreciate it, guys. I got my work cut out for me, but you guys have a good day.
All right, thanks. That's Derek Johnson. And, Rock, he's a guy that everywhere you go, you get scouts. We visit with a lot of the visiting teams and the opponents and different scouts, and he's one of the names that comes up often as Braun draws the walk. I think he's starting, Derek Johnson I'm talking about, he's starting to really establish himself as one of the great young pitching coaches in baseball right now.
And again, it's never about, Derek Johnson. When you talk to him about his pitching staff and the things they're doing, he always gives the accolades to his guys, the guys on the mound. But there's a great article in the offseason about the importance of Derek Johnson in his coaching staff. And I think all the coaches, for the Brewers, it's not just Milwaukee. I mean, in big league coaches, minor league coaches, very understated. They never want to take any of the credit. They're always willing to take the blame when things aren't going well, but that's the sign of a great coach.
Appreciate his time. As you saw, Braun in his second plate appearance drew the walk, so a single and a walk today for Braun. Kyle Wren is the pinch runner, and Wren will take over the duties in left field. And so the Brewers suddenly have the bases loaded here with Eric Thames at the plate. When you look at some of the success stories the Brewers have on the mound, guys like Chase Anderson and Jimmy Nelson, and then a lot of these younger minor league pitchers that have come up and thrived right away in the big leagues. You could even put Junior Guerra in that category from 2 years ago. And there is a common denominator in that. These guys, they rave about Derek Johnson. You don't see players talk about coaches or managers very often unless they really have an affinity for them and what they've been able to help them do in their career. And you get a lot of that from players with Derek Johnson. That says a lot about the guy. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Thames.
You know, it's a continuity, not just at the big league level. I mean, down in the minor leagues. I mean, these guys in the minors are preaching the same type of things and have the same approach and philosophy as that of the major league team. And I think that continuity helps them as they get to the big leagues through their minor league career.
Dan Otero in his first inning of work in trouble here with 2 outs. This is up high to Thames to even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. There's a great manager there, and talk about a manager that gets a lot of praise from his players. Terry Francona.
Not missing by much, but what a difference, right? Tomlin to Otero. He's already walked a couple in this inning.
2 walks and a single to load the bases. Runners will be on the move. Perez will hit next if Thames can get him there. Traveling time with 2 away. There they go, and Thames takes ball 4, and the Brewers have tied it up. 3rd walk of the inning for Otero. It'll be an RBI the easy way for Eric Thames. And the Brewers get their first run.
Yeah, good approach, good at bat by Thames. The Brewers did a good job walking last year. Good eye at the plate. It looks like Otero getting underneath the baseball a little bit, missing high. Mechanical issue.
Well, good day's work for Ryan Braun. This was supposed to be the day he was making his first base debut. Has not played first base, but there is a plan in place, and it could be Wednesday that he would play first base for the first time. It'll be sometime this week is the assumption.
Yeah,
and he's playing every other day at this point.
Yeah, Brewers have 3 straight home games here at Maryvale. Unusual.
Perez takes a ball.
And the big fella doesn't make many road trips. Let's put it that way.
That's right. Well, neither do you. I mean, it's the same deal. It's kind of the same story.
It helps that all the TV games are at home.
Perez in the left field. That's going to get down. A base hit. VR is in. And Wren will score. 2 RBI single for Hernan Perez. Brewers have the lead. It's 3-1.
Well, you know, Hernan's going to get his playing time, that's for sure. Too good of a hitter, too versatile. It's going to be a challenge for Counsell to figure out ways to get him in the lineup. But a 2-seam fastball, pretty good pitch. It was in. And Perez doing a good job pulling those hands in and ripping it in the left.
It's going to be the end of the line for Otero. Pitch count gets to 30, and that's enough. Out he goes. We'll set up the new hurler right after this. Of Dan Otero, still have runners at first and second. And the new pitcher is DJ Brown, who spent the year in the minor leagues last year, and he will be tasked to get out of this third inning for Terry Francona.
Yeah, 1-7 split between Columbus and Akron. You see the earned run average of 466. And he comes into a tough situation, a couple of men on with 2 outs.
Otero walks 3, gives up 2 hits. And right now, 3 runs. All of them are earned. So here is Ji-Man Choi, 8th batter of the inning. And the Brewers with runners at first and second. Perez and Thames are on. Choi rattles him up in the Brewers dugout.
Hard to pull a ball that much.
He's over there in the expensive area of the dugout with Ryan Braun standing there.
Talking about getting the bat head out, right? Look out, Brawny.
Braun hit the chute, didn't he? He was gone quickly. Braun's not used to watching a game from the dugout. You know, he's very rarely up on that position. I think it surprised him a little bit. I think he forgot there's a net in front.
Yeah. Brent Suter had to rip the cord too.
I think Brent Suter was wise to throw himself in front of Ryan Braun.
Yeah, that's good.
That's pretty much what he did.
That's a good career decision.
Took one for the team. 0-2 to Choi. And that bounces in. Both runners will advance.
That barely made the dirt.
Be a wild pitch.
Not a whole lot you can do with that if you're a catcher.
I always write down in my scorebook on those, I put an EWP, not just a WP for wild pitch. Extreme wild pitch.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what the E was for.
I think that ball had a grass stain on it.
Man.
It is February, though. And this is high with a big fastball. 2-2 to Choi. G-Man flew out in the second inning. Played for the Yankees last year. Actually played for the Yankees, was in the big leagues when the Brewers were there in New York. Fly ball to left, Sun Field, not easy. No problem for Almonte, and the inning is over. The Brewers score 3 runs. 2 RBI single by Hernan Perez. Has 5 RBIs already this spring. What a great start to the 2018 Cactus League for Hernan Perez. crew. Chris Carter, Nick Wright, Jenna Wolf. They are there for First Things First. It's weekdays on FS1. It streams live on Fox Sports Go. Your morning routine just got a whole lot more fun with First Things First. Indians are coming to bat here as we go to the 4th inning. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder, our producer and director Marty Tarr, and our terrific crew here in Phoenix. And we welcome all of those watching on Fox Sports Ohio, and all those Cleveland Indian fans picking up our broadcast today. Great to have you with us as well. Oliver Drake will be the next Brewer hurler. Suter works a nice and tidy 3rd inning, 3 up and 3 down with a strikeout. And Drake out for his 2nd appearance of the spring.
Yep, Drake was used a lot out of the bullpen against left-handed batters because of that split-fingered fastball, actually a screwball action. You saw he had 64 appearances. 61 of those came as a Brewer a year ago.
Brewers just get 3 runs in the bottom of the 3rd to take the lead. RBIs coming from Thames and Perez. Thames drew a bases-loaded walk. Perez with a 2 RBI single. Cleveland's run came in the 2nd. It was an RBI single by Richie Schaefer after a Bobby Bradley double. Perez, little half swing, that is foul. Pena trying to get on it quickly before it went foul.
He does get out there quickly, out of the crouch, and after that baseball, they try to push it into fair territory. I thought maybe I could fool him.
No replay in spring training. You might be able to get away with one every now and then. And that one hit well. Deep left center field. And this one is going to be off the wall, off the glove of Kane, then off the wall. And it's going to be a leadoff double for the Cleveland catcher.
Yeah, Lorenzo Cain thought he should have had it.
Now, batting number 79.
That pitch, that split-fingered pitch, and looked as though Perez thought he hit one out. Just off the end of the glove or close, and that'll be a double, leadoff double. Lorenzo thinks he should catch everything.
Yeah, he certainly does. It's going to be the end of the day for Perez. He's out. So the Cleveland catcher sharing those duties with Yan Gomes this year. There's a little handle shot by Bradley. That's going to fall. This will bring in a run. So Bobby Bradley with a double and a single this afternoon. And now an RBI, his first RBI of the spring. 3-2 Brewers now.
Didn't hit it all that hard, but put it in a pretty good spot. Put the bat on the baseball. That high fastball from Drake.
Here's Richie Schaefer, who drove in the first Cleveland run in the 2nd inning. Oliver Drake is trying to make this big league ball club as a reliever. Brewers picked him up from the Baltimore Orioles after he was released last year right at the end of spring training. Very unusual motion delivery. Essentially throws a screwball, but he uses a split finger grip and then turns it over to give that screwball effect. Goes down and into a right-handed batter.
His success due in large part, I think, the delivery. Leans back. You don't see many pitchers doing that. And he throws it from right over the top. Ball just kind of sneaks up on him a little bit. See the way he keeps that hand behind his back and hides it as long as he can. That baseball, as it gets to home plate, sneaks up on a hitter.
One ball, 2 strikes on Richie Schaefer, and now it's even at 2-2. If you go back a little ways, you might remember, we got an effort by a fan here. We're I've been told no souvenir, phone on the ground, keys everywhere.
They just hope the kids weren't watching.
Some parts exposed.
Dad, what are you doing?
Some things we should never see exposed to the rest of the crowd.
It's good effort, though. He wanted that baseball.
Breathing hard. His glasses are broken. He's got a scab on his elbow now. I mean, we really need to go get him a baseball. Do you have one, Rock?
I always have one.
Would you mind just walking down there and giving it to him?
I wouldn't mind.
I feel bad right now.
I would say I'd throw it to him, but I don't think that would end well.
After what we just saw, you have to size up your fans. Know what you can get away with or not.
Right.
All right, keep an eye on him, though.
A for effort.
I feel like he deserves a baseball. He might be leaving. He's limping now. I'm concerned for his health. Schaefer fouls that one away. But you know what I thought of when I was watching that guy go after that ball? I mean, he looks to me like an ideal fantasy camp participant.
See, I knew that was coming up soon. I don't know why I thought that, but got some good athletes at fantasy camp.
He's got a little hobble. Ooh, that one just missed. Schaefer reaches on a walk. Tough start to the inning for Drake. First three batters have reached.
Now batting number 39.
Before and the after. Good to soak up some rays.
Yeah.
I hope he didn't leave. I'd really, I'd like to take care of him. Feel bad. Urshela first pitch swinging. What I was going to say before we were distracted is if you go back a little ways, you remember Mike Marshall, the pitcher,
Right,
won
yeah.
the Cy Young Award,
Yep.
who threw a screwball. It's a very similar motion as Mike Marshall from those days. Straight over the top, clear the front side.
Hide it. Mike Marshall appeared in over 100 games one year.
He was
Talk about
an enigma.
bionic arm, right?
He was a right-hander. He wasn't a big guy either. He was that one year you're talking about. That was the '74 year he won the Cy Young Award. Mike Marshall appeared in 106 games.
Yeah, right. Wow.
106 games.
Out of the pen.
Josh Colmenter has a very similar throwing style.
Right.
And Oliver Drake out of the U.S. Naval Academy. He's the only one in the big leagues from the U.S. Naval Academy. There are still three, or two, I should say, two, including Drake, that are active. I'm not sure Mitch Harris is active anymore going into 2018, but Harris pitched for the Cardinals a couple of years back.
We don't see many out of the military academies.
Baseball Reference is a great resource for things of this nature, and Baseball Reference will tell you there are three in the history of baseball to play in the big leagues. Oliver Drake, Nemo Gaines, and Mitch Harris. One ball, two strikes. Hot one on the ground, backhanded by Perez. Steps on the bag, to first in time, and a double play. Beautiful pick by Hernan Perez, and he turns it into two.
Boy, good hands. That's a tough play on the backhand like that. Watch the hop. Gets himself ready to make the throw even before he touches the bag and able to get the double play easily. A tremendous infielder. Hernan Perez, throw him in the outfield. He wants to catch. I would imagine he could do that pretty well too.
The 7-position player that he is, Perez, who would love to add that 8th position at some point, the catching position. Two quick outs now after that ground ball. Gives Drake a chance to get out of this inning. 1 run is in on 2 hits and a walk. Eric Gonzalez at the plate for the Tribe. I was looking at the early work schedule for the Brewers. So they have this schedule in the clubhouse, and it kind of lays out the week for early work. Guys come here around 8:15, 8:30, and whatever position they play, they'll have early work there. So most guys are on about an every 3rd day routine. So you may go early work on a Monday, and the next 2 days you just do the normal batting practice and what have you. Hernan Perez was on the list every day.
Yeah.
Every single day early work. 1 day at 3rd base, another day at 2nd, another day at 3rd, another day in the outfield.
Yeah.
That's what it requires to be a utility player of his caliber. You have to train at all these positions. As Drake walks Gonzalez.
And teams need players to be able to play multiple positions, not only infield, but infield and outfield. And you know, the game has changed. The relievers much more of a part of the game earlier than ever. Early innings, and you know, with teams breaking camp with 7, 8 relievers, your bench players have to be versatile. And not too many better than Perez.
And more often than not, an organization will determine the personality of the player before they discuss a utility position. Because anybody who's at this level, you don't just become a utility player. You've been an everyday player somewhere. And there is that transition, and you have to really want to do it. You have to want to do all that early work. That's where the rubber really meets the road, right there. When you look at a schedule about being a utility player, it's not the fact that you're in the big leagues and you're playing different positions. It's all the work, more work that goes into it compared to the rest of the team.
You can make a lot of money being a utility player like Hernan Perez.
Top of the order, Bradley Zimmer in his 3rd at-bat, likely his final at-bat. 3-2 Brew Crew. We're in the 4th. And Zimmer with 2 men on. Drake trying to get through this one. Been a rough inning for him. 2 hits and 2 walks. But a key double play to help him out. That one's on the ground, and that'll do it. So Choi will go to the bag, and Drake survives, only allowing 1. Inning is over. Cleveland gets a run. And this guy, some serious damage. Elbow, knee, glasses. He's got a ball coming. That good is in our DNA. Every Brewer player does his part in supporting the community through a variety of initiatives like building houses, bikes for kids, scholarships, youth baseball, and much more. Join Brewers Community Foundation and play on our team by lending a physical and financial hand to nonprofits throughout Milwaukee and Wisconsin. Indians have a new pitcher. Left-hander Tyler Olson is the fourth man on the mound for Terry Francona.
Yeah, split time between the Indians and AAA. 30 appearances last year with Cleveland. Did not have an earned run average. That's not bad, is it? He's had some big league time with the Mariners and the Yankees. Yeah, pretty good numbers.
Keon Broxton leads off for the Brewers. Indians have a new catcher as well. Francisco Mejia is behind the plate. Roberto Perez's day is done. A couple of at-bats, has a double. Indians have an interesting catching core at the big league level. If it stays the same with Yan Gomes and Roberto Perez, who combined for over 90 RBIs last year. No real clear-cut starter necessarily. Both can play and handle a heavy workload. And Mejia is behind those guys. Sometimes you never know, though. Sometimes when you emerge as a backup and you hit well, that can usually create some space because most teams are looking for catching to some degree.
Injuries. Yan Gomes has already missed a fair amount of time in the big leagues with injuries, and if you can catch and throw and get some hits, you're going to stick around a long time.
Broxton up there. 2-2 is rolled to third base. Schaefer, high throw, look out, off the facing of the dugout. Big collision over there between Broxton and Bradley.
I'm not sure he ever touched first base. Talking about Broxton, he gets back now. This could have been dangerous early in spring. This is not what you want to see. Does he touch first? I'm not sure. Couldn't see.
Well, he and Bradley colliding at first base.
Yeah, he never touched the bag. Yeah, the Indians just conceding the fact that he did. What a body block.
And you know, it was interesting to follow Broxton going back to the bag. Good lesson out there. So the first base umpire is watching this whole scene as Pena takes a strike. He never made a call either way.
Right, so
that
means he didn't hit the bag.
And he's watching the whole scene unfold, and as Broxton kind of slowly works his way back, as soon as he steps on the base, umpire with the safe sign.
And you know, if Broxton started to sprint back to first, Indians would have made a play on him, right?
You got to be cool here.
Right, just, oh yeah, I touched it, no big deal, I'm just going back. Yep, I'm all right, thanks.
Good, I'm going to talk to you. When I watch the umpire, if he's in the shot, right there, he goes, okay, safe.
Yep, never touched the bag. Yep.
That's always a good lesson for you if you're a young player out there. If you do not see the umpire give a definitive call, you see it a lot at home plate. You used to see it a lot more when they had collisions at home plate, but that's the idea that the runner has not touched the base or the plate. So if you see that, you don't see a call, go tag him.
Right, that goes for fair or foul down the line. Just play it as if it's fair. Don't wait for a call. Don't assume a call.
Just glad everybody's all right. That was a pretty violent collision. Broxton, a former football player, wide receiver in Florida, in the Orlando area. He's been hit a lot harder, is my point.
Right.
Manny Pena with a runner at first in the dirt. The Brewer catcher. We're talking about the Indians' catching situation. The Brewers were in a similar position last year. There was no real clear-cut starting catcher. Pena and Andrew Susac and Jet Bandy all battling for the job. Pena emerged as the starter. He had a terrific season last season. Another guy who is a late bloomer.
There's not a better throwing catcher in the big leagues. Pickoffs, swung the bat well.
Had some clutch at-bats as well. Had the 9 home runs. Susac is now with the Orioles, by the way. Made a deal for him. Bandy, Vogt, and Pena are the 3 catchers in camp. Broxton will end up at second. On a wild pitch. That goes into the dugout.
That's another EWP partner.
Extreme wild pitch. See?
I like it.
Helps you remember.
I like it, yeah.
I mean, there are wild pitches, and then there are
the EWP kind of tells me that catcher had no chance.
That goes right along with our scorebook entry that we adopted from the great Phil Rizzuto. WW, which happens a lot in spring training. WW stands for wasn't watching.
Just put an X. I've already had a couple of those.
That's a scorebook that is intact, unlike ours. Professional scoring right there. The lost art of baseball scorebook keeping.
Hey, you can do it on your computer now. You don't even need paper.
An Eric Sogard fan, nerd power.
When are you going to go to the iPad scoring system?
I don't think I don't want to ever say never, but I'm not feeling that. I've gone electronic in a lot of areas. Not that one. Fly ball to right. Chisenhall. Broxton's going to tag. Chisenhall lets it go. Broxton is in there as it's cut off. So Pena advances a runner on a fly ball to right. And a runner at third with Sogard coming up.
Yep, an area of emphasis for the Brewers, and hitting coach Darnell Cole talking about plating those runs, man at third, less than 2 outs.
There's
Darnell.
Coach.
Yeah.
Most positive guy in the world. Whoa. A Darnell Cole's jersey spotted in the stands today. That is a rare gem. That might be game used.
Yeah.
Sogard takes a spinner for a strike. Sogard hitting in the 9 spot in the order. Flies one to left. Broxton's going to tag. Almonte makes a catch. Broxton on his way. He'll score easily.
Yeah, just not a very good throwing arm out in left field. We saw that early in the game when Wren scored from second base on a base hit. That was a no-brainer sending him there. So the Brewers able to capitalize on man at third, less than 2 outs.
Sogard with a sac fly. His 3rd RBI of the spring. Started with an error on the ground ball to third by Broxton. Went to second on a wild pitch. Pena got him to third with a fly ball to right, and Sogard brings him in. Scoring without benefit of a hit. 2 outs for VR. And VR with a base hit. Shoots one into right field in his first at-bat as a right-handed hitter.
Yeah, Jonathan got a little bit pull happy a little bit last year, and this is exactly what you want to see on a pitch that actually was off the outside corner. Waits back nicely, attacks, gets down and through, and a line drive into right.
Nice piece of hitting by VR. Keeps the inning alive for Lorenzo Cain. VR with a walk and a single. 1 for 2 today. And Cain's up there with 2 outs. Kane has fly ball outs to right field in his first 2 at-bats as he takes strike 1.
Working on staying on the baseball. Watching him in batting practice today. 1 line drive to right field after another.
And a pop-up in the infield. Urshela makes the catch, and that will retire the Brewers in the 4th inning. 4 in the books. The Crew has added to their lead. It's now 4-2. Position she's in right now.
Yeah.
New pitcher is Tyler Webb.
I will say this, the kids are well behaved with Mom just about sacked out there. Good for them. Yeah, last season, Tyler Webb split time between the Yankees and the Brewers. You see that 563 earned run average for the Southpaw. Made 2 appearances with the Brewers. Brewers are going to have some lefties out in that pen this year.
A lot of left-handed options as Craig Counsell tries to prepare his big league rotation and big league bullpen. Dad fetching lunch. Mom got a quick snooze. See, moms are that way. That's why they have these superpowers.
Yep.
They can grab a 30-second nap and be ready the rest of the day. Completely organized. Kids are on lockdown with popcorn. Dad is chasing down the hot dogs at the concession stand. Mom says, all right, I've got 90 seconds here and I'm going to take advantage of it. Super moms. We salute all the mothers out there.
Yeah, no kidding. They manage their time well, don't they?
There's nothing like hanging out in the Cactus League in this time of year, late February and March. It's just you don't even have to be a sports fan or a baseball fan. It helps if you are, but very relaxing afternoon. Nice play, Sogard. He spins and throws and not in time.
Oh. Let's go to the replay.
Not this time of year, partner. Sorry.
That was a pretty good play by Sogard. Just doesn't have enough arm to get the out. Well, getting down that line quickly. That's where that Orlando Arcia arm comes in handy.
Heck of a play by Sogard, but Allen too fast and legs out an infield hit. Here's Lonnie Chisenhall. 1 for 2 today. I always tell people the best time to come to spring training depends on what you're looking for. Let's put it that way. if you want to see the big name players play a lot, then you don't come early.
Right.
You come late in the spring. You come late March. That's when they're playing usually 3, sometimes 4 at-bats. They're playing 5, 6, 7 innings at times. Pitchers are going, the starting pitchers are at that point going 4, 3 and 4, sometimes 5 innings.
Right.
So if you're into the names and you want to see the names, you come late. But if you want to get a good sense of the entire organization and get maybe more accessibility with players, especially the younger guys, you come early.
Much more apt to get an autograph, down in spring training. Guys are loose. Good value out here at all of these ballparks.
Chisenhall, a swing and a miss. 2-2 the count.
My favorite month of the year.
I'm telling you,
March.
I'm right with you.
You get out of the cold weather and you hear the crack of the bat. Nothing like it.
Cleveland trains not too far from here. They're in the West Valley as well in Goodyear. Brewers are in Phoenix proper. Matter of fact, this facility is the only spring training facility in the actual city limits of Phoenix. Indians share a facility with the Reds in Goodyear, right at the base of the Estrella mountain range. It's beautiful up there. That was a good pitch. He got him. Punched him out. Webb with a breaking ball to strike out Chisenhall.
Buckled his knees with that breaking pitch. Watch the knees go. Once the knees go, you've got him right on the outside corner.
Good action from Tyler Webb early in the spring. One away for Almonte. Last year, the Brewers acquired Webb for Garrett Cooper. They sent Cooper to the Yankees. Yankees were having all kind of trouble finding a first baseman. G-Man Choi was part of that group, who's now with the Brewers in the spring. So Cooper went over, got a chance to play right away. This is right around the All-Star break, right after the All-Star break. Runner goes, swinging a foul. Back to first goes Allen.
Watch him get himself in position before the ball comes, and he gets whacked in the back of the head. That's why you wear the helmet.
The tools of brilliance.
One first of many, Manny.
0-2 pitch and a pop foul. Now Webb came to the Brewers last year after the deal with the Yankees and didn't last long in Milwaukee. He's had a year to settle into a new organization. This is his first spring training in the Brewers organization after being with the Yankees in Florida in the Tampa area. So he's enjoying the Arizona part of this. He's 27. He'll turn 28 this year, so it's a big year for him to try to break through and establish himself. Pop up. VR's got it for out number 2. Well, we're back on television tomorrow, and our television schedule the rest of the way. We'll pick up the Arizona Diamondbacks broadcast on the 1st of March, and then we'll have the Arizona telecast on Fox Sports Wisconsin on the 8th. That run, the 8th, the 9th, and the 10th, that is sponsor weekend here at Maryvale. And then the rest of the TV schedule will have 12 games total on television for you this spring. And as we do often, we share our broadcast and we pick up others' broadcast in the Fox regional family. So we're welcoming in all those watching on Fox Sports Ohio today. Sharing is caring, Rock. It's always good to see our friends from the Cleveland Indians. Jim Rosenhaus is here calling the game today. Terrific radio man for the Tribe. Sports Time Ohio.
Yeah.
I believe I've been saying Fox Sports Ohio. Sports Time Ohio.
It's okay. Kind of disappointed we didn't see our buddy Rick Manning out here today. He lives in the Phoenix area.
He might be here. A little half swing foul. Rick Manning and Matt Underwood, two of our favorite guys on the old circuit. And of course, the great Tom Hamilton.
Yeah.
Wisconsin native, the voice of the Indians, beginning his 29th season calling Indians baseball on the radio.
There's Uke.
The
Jeff
great
Levering.
Yeah, Bob Uecker's in the ballpark today.
Kent Sommerfeld.
If we could just get Jeff to lean back a little bit. Let me just see if I can get his attention here. He's locked in, Jeff. I mean, he's really dialed into that media guide. Yeah, he's going to sit right there in our way.
Yeah.
Fly ball to left. That ball's hit well, and it is going to be up and out of here. 2-run home run. And just like that, this game is all tied up. First at bat of the day for Mejia. He delivers a 2-run blast. And we're all even at 4.
Yeah, waited back just enough on this pitch. Look, it was up and away. Able to hook it out of here. It was. It waited back long enough. Might have been a changeup. And Mejia gives it a ride right down that line. It's 350 down the line, but as we've been saying, carries pretty well down here.
Bobby Bradley at the plate now. Takes a strike.
Yeah, Brewers and Indians are going to play in the regular season, home and home this year.
Bradley pulls one foul. Always enjoy a trip to Cleveland.
Brewers go to Cleveland early June. 2-game series on the 5th and the 6th. And Cleveland in Milwaukee in May. 2-game series on the 8th and 9th.
That series in June on the road is part of a long road trip. A swing through the American League Central. The Brewers will start June with a 3-game series against the White Sox in Chicago and then go from Chicago to Cleveland. Finish the trip in Philadelphia. That's one of those early tests of a road trip with off days in between, and going to be out there a little while in June. Brewers will go 10 days between home games during that stretch. Hot grounder right to Choi. Nice big hop. Bradley's out. Inning is over. But Francisco Mejia, the second catcher today for the Indians, has hit a 2-run homer. Hey, a reminder, when you combine the most provocative man in sports with the most interesting man in sports, you get opinion that cuts through the hype. Speak for yourself with Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock. Weekdays at 4 Only on FS1. That's what the card says. Don't look at me like that. Beautiful sunny day in Phoenix, Arizona. And the Indians have a new pitcher. Jeff Beliveau is on the mound for Cleveland, another left-hander.
Yeah, those 19 appearances came with the Blue Jays, so Beliveau has had some big league time with the Cubs, the Rays, Blue Jays, and hoping to find some time with the Indians this year.
Kyle Wren will lead off. Wren's first at bat, he came in for Ryan Braun. Braun playing in his first spring training game of 2018. Had a good day, had a base hit. Single in his first at bat. He walked in his third at bat, or second at bat in the third, I should say. 1 for 1 for Ryan. Wren pinch ran for him in that third inning, scored a run. But his first time at the plate. Indians have made a few changes defensively, other than Beliveau on the mound. I can pass those along to you if you're interested.
Yeah, as soon as you're done with them, send them on over here.
Wren into left field. Tyler Naquin is the new left fielder, and it's down, a base hit. And Wren with a big turn. So a single for Kyle Wren.
Little jam shot right down the left field line. They were playing him a little bit deeper than they probably should out in left field. He just kind of fisted one. He was thinking about going to second. Any problems out there with the throw or a bobble, he was going to take off.
New left fielder rock is Tyler Naquin. As Eric Thames steps in, big swing and a miss. Cleveland has a new center fielder as well, Brandon Barnes. And the new right fielder is Rob Refsnyder. And a strike to Thames. 0-2 the count. And the new man at first is the big man, Nelly Rodriguez. He's easy to spot. Plenty of room on that uniform back to fit the name. Thames is out on strikes.
You might have had him guessing that time. That one had plenty of the plate. He was thinking breaking pitch. That was right down the middle. Well, he mentioned last spring, early in spring, taking a lot of pitches and got off to a great start.
I think we should go with that for now.
Might be his MO right now.
He's tracking pitches, especially from left-handers. You should ask him about that when we interview him.
Yeah.
Perez takes a strike.
Don't want to ruffle any feathers, though. He's a big dude.
It's all how you word it.
Yeah.
Very delicate this time of year. Perez, line shot. Oh, what a catch at second base. Turns into a double play. Eric Gonzalez with the highlight of the day in the Cactus League. Wow. That ball looked like it was behind him. And a last-minute stab turns it into 2 to end the inning. Eric Gonzalez on the highlight reel.
this season, you can enjoy total flexibility with a Brewers Flex 10-pack. Allocate your tickets across a section of 52 games to create the perfect schedule for your calendar. Plus, you can enjoy opening day as your free 11th game. Learn more at brewers.com/10packs.
Ernesto Frieri is the next Brewer pitcher as we head to the 6th inning. All tied at 4, the Brewers and the Indians, and Frieri trying to make this ball club as a reliever. Misses down and away. Down in the Brewers dugout on a headset is our good friend Eric Thames. Eric, thanks for joining us here today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Good to have you on, and good to catch up for a moment on your season here, at least your spring training portion of this. I was mentioning on the air during your last at-bat that this has to be a much more comfortable experience for you this year compared to last. What are the changes for you?
Well, actually, I don't know about that. I mean, the game started about 3 days into camp, so guys are still getting ready. Backs are all tight, hammies are tight, knees are hurting, so we're all kind of grinding through it to get ready. I mean, we leave for Houston in about a month, so we got to get it going. So physically, it's a little bit of a rush, but yeah, like knowing what to expect over a full season, yeah, definitely I know a lot more this year than I did last year.
You know, we were talking about you earlier today, and it was obvious that last year in spring training, early on, taking a lot of pitches, just trying to see the baseball, adjust to the velocity here. Is that similar to what you're doing early in this spring training?
Well, yeah, yeah. Just a lot of times it's not really on purpose. Just my mind knows what to expect and what's coming, and how to react to my body is not really there yet. So to get mind and body synced up, that's like the point of spring training. So. But like I said, yeah, trying to learn the strike zone again. It's going to be even bigger this year than it was last year. So learning that, I mean, because my big role for this team is to get on base, besides driving guys in and stuff like that. So walks are going to be a big part of my year.
Yeah, what a difference a year makes, though, right? I mean, you come into this team last year and they're talking about a total rebuild and be patient while spring training starts this year. You guys have the expectations of getting to the postseason. How does that feel?
Oh, it feels awesome, and the best part about it is that everybody that we brought in is just a great person, great guy. We have great chemistry on this whole Brewers staff. So we're gonna have fun. We're gonna do it. That's all we can do is we can do it.
Eric Thames joining us. Was functioning today as the designated hitter as Frieri deals a strike. So Eric, you get into this part of the spring now. We're in week 2 now, and there is a lot of time to prepare for the games, at least on the calendar. But your sense of what this Brewers team can be this year, your expectations for yourself and for this team. I mean, give us an idea in that clubhouse. What's going through your mind? There's a fly ball to center. That's way back.
In here.
Urshela, and it's going to be off the wall. Great effort there by Johnny Davis, but the ball hits the wall. VR's throw to the plate, and a run is in, and Cleveland has the lead. Urshela with a double and an RBI to give Cleveland a 5-4 lead.
So back to your question, for us it's postseason. Last year, we lost our chance in heartbreaking fashion, for that wild card spot. So this year, that's our goal. Obviously, we want all of our guys to stay healthy, all of our guys in the lineup, in the bullpen, rotation, etc. But besides that, we're on the postseason, and after that, it's all magic and all fate.
Now, there's a trade-off here. You mentioned that you've only been in the camp maybe a few days and games start, but the reason for that, you get more days off throughout the regular season. I mean, is that a benefit, or is that something that you'd rather have a little bit more time between the first spring training game?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, come June, July, August, your body's barking. I don't care who you are. You're tired. Your bat speed's a little bit slower. Your legs feel like you have sandbags wrapped around them. So, yeah, off days are a huge thing. So, I mean, like I was saying earlier, right now we're all just grinding through it. It's the way it is. The year starts, 4 or 5 days earlier. So we got to do it. We got to come in here and get rolling, especially as the hitters. Pitchers have their advantage. They're throwing their sides. A lot of guys are ready. I mean, I saw some guys, on other teams throwing 100 already cranking it up. It's like, oh my goodness! As hitters, we're trying to get through 4 innings without starting to cramp up.
That falls in right. Broxton will play it back to the infield. That'll be second and third. A lot of offense going on behind our conversation, rudely interrupting our discussion here, Eric, as we set up some of these changes. I did enjoy some of the early images coming from spring training with you participating with Braun Strowman and some of the WWE guys. I feel like that is just right at home for you. That's a perfect ending place for you at some point in your career, right?
I mean, I feel like that would be a lot of fun. So that's definitely on the table for when my career is over in baseball, but hopefully that's not for a while.
You might be too old to do it.
Oh, no. So,
I mean, you got to have some kind of keep your
Ric Flair's
athleticism.
in there, the Undertaker's in there, all those guys.
Honky Tonk Man's still taking a chair on the back, isn't he?
Good old Honky Tonk. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, it's there is a little bit of that WWE element. I mean, you're part of the reason, and I think a lot of it's your personality, right? But you found something else, it seems to me, when you went to Korea. You found a new Eric Thames, or at least maybe a different version than when you were in the major leagues the first time around. Is that true, and what was it that you found?
I would just say probably that maturity of just kind of like knowing who I am. And, I'm 31 years old now, so I'm not going to change who I am. I am who I am, And I'll say I am a few more times. But, yeah, like that was pretty much it, not trying to impress anybody, not trying to put on an act or stuff like that. I'm just going to be me, and, that's all I can do,
Yeah, how much is Ryan Braun coming to you about, maybe the idiosyncrasies of the nuances of first base? There's been talk about Ryan maybe playing over there from time to time. Are you guys talking about that?
Oh, yeah, definitely. A lot of signs and, like where to stand on certain plays and stuff. But when it comes to like ground balls and throws, Bronny came up as a third baseman. He's an extremely talented athlete. So he has no problem with that aspect of it. But it's just, learning. I mean, it's first base. It's not as difficult as like catching or playing shortstop. But yeah, like so far he's got the hang of it, and I feel like he's going to do a very good job over there.
How about you in the outfield? What was that experience like for you? You came up as an outfielder, so not something so unfamiliar, but you didn't play a lot of outfield over the last handful of years. I'm not sure if you ever played the outfield in Korea, but what was that like for you last year to make that transition to the other side?
I mean, it felt easier, actually. I felt like I worked so hard on it. 11 and 12 that, I overthought fly balls, overthought plays a lot. And, going out there last year is all right, just, catch a few fly balls, play some long toss, make sure my arm's nice and loose, and catch it. That's pretty much it. So it was actually a lot simpler, and I feel like I did a pretty good job in Braun's absence. But, this year I don't think we'll have a problem filling in outfield spots.
Got plenty out there, right?
Oh, yeah.
When you were, my last question for you here, but when you think about your season last year, maybe you can help us out a little bit with your personality and how driven you are. But what were your assessments of your season as a whole? And then as you get to the season, how long did it take you to finally step back and realize what you accomplished by making it back to the major leagues and overall having a really terrific year, coming back to a place you wanted to perform?
Yeah, I mean, I still haven't let that settle in. It's one thing that I know I could have been a lot better. I know certain things, I let outside distractions kind of get to me, or whether it's like pressure on myself to hit a home run to catch up to Judge or whatever it is. But this year, my goal is kind of keep my mind simple and just focus on controlling the controllables, which is, swinging at strikes, make sure my body's healthy, I'm loose, make sure I'm sticking to my routine, eating right. Just small things like that, because if you master those little small things, then everything else kind of comes together.
Well, we're looking forward to it. Thanks for spending a little time with us today. Always great to catch up with you, and you continue to be one of the more entertaining major league players in the game, and we're glad you're here in Milwaukee.
No, well, I thank you.
Thanks to Eric Thames.
All right.
Yeah, look at these jerseys. A lot of Thames jerseys that we've seen. He's something, man. He's a showman.
Yeah.
He is a showman. Friere picks up another strikeout, so back-to-back Ks. Indians have taken the lead in this sixth inning on a walk and 2 hits, but now 2 strikeouts, and that's going to bring up Rob Refsnyder.
You know what I like about, talking to Eric, and not just, on, interviews on television, but when you talk to him around the batting cage, he's not one of those going to give you those canned answers, those that 90% of guys are going to give you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he will be brutally honest with you, and that's something that most people aren't used to. But that's a great thing about Eric.
He's a fun guy to be around for sure. And as far as the entertainment side of it, you know, from our perspective on television, he's a go-to interview when either you're in a great situation, a great moment. I'll never forget the interview last year after the walk-off. I mean, I actually thought he was going to hit Jerry Augustine across the back with a chair that day. He was into it.
It was good it was Augie there and not Sophia.
Not even when things aren't going well. He's accountable. And Eric Dames.
Yeah.
Frieri with a strikeout of Refsnyder. He strikes out 3 in a row to end the inning. After the first 3 had reached, Indians do score. They now have the lead, but Frieri comes back strong and strikes out 3. Famous racing sausages. Who you like today, Rob?
Chorizo.
It's a good call. Looks like he's out of the gates quickly. Good call. How'd you know?
I saw the race.
Oh, that was on tape?
That was a tape.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. We got to be honest. Remember, we're going to be honest this year.
That's right.
Last year I would have said something. I just had a feeling.
I forgot. We weren't on the bit.
This is all about honesty.
A chorizo T-shirt celebrating a chorizo win. You wore the right one today, sir. He just didn't eat something off the ground, did he? I think he's got a bag down there. Maybe.
WW. Wasn't watching.
Here's Nate Orff will lead off for the Brewers as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Evan Marshall is the new pitcher.
What I was doing is I was pouring over some information on the Cleveland right-hander. Got a good arm, a 2-seam heavy sinking fastball. You can see his numbers, last year. He spent a little bit of time with the Mariners. He's had some big league time with the Diamondbacks as well.
Indians have a brand new infield in this game. Not in general, but the changes have come for those down at the bottom of the order. Marshall deals and Orff fouls it away. New third baseman is Yu Chang. Willie Castro is the shortstop, and the new second baseman is Drew Magi. Magi is what I'm going with. I apologize if I mispronounce that. Drew Maggi, I'm sorry, Maggi, Arizona State Sun Devil. So the full overhaul of the Indians is complete. And the man behind the plate, Mejia, with a 2-run home run in his first at-bat, taking over for Perez. Nate Orff hit .320 last year in Colorado Springs, valuable member of the Sky Sox team, a playoff team.
Man, that was a nice season, .320. Not a tall guy, but he's pretty well put together, Nate Orff. You see him over the last few years as a guy that finishes up games for the Brewers.
That's what you need this time of the game. Can't tell the players without a program. Full count to Orf. And a swing and a foul in and out of the glove of Mejia. We saw Orf into a game on Friday, and an intriguing chant developed that I would love to see at the major league level. Orf, 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 Orf. That's what the fans were chanting. I like that. That's got some staying power, I think. Another foul. I mean, it's one thing when 2,000 people are doing that, but you can imagine if there were 40,000 people.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Orf, Orf.
I'm
Orf.
sure he'd enjoy it too with 40,000 people.
No question.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love the kettle corn, huh?
Is that what that is? A little vitamin D and some kettle corn. Full count to Orf. And he walks. Brewers get a man on to start the 6th inning.
Now batting number 23, right fielder.
Only in baseball, if you heard, somebody yelled out from the dugout, Orphy. Only in baseball, it works opposite. So all the really long names you condense into a shorter name. Keon Broxton stepping in, he's known as Brox. But only baseball players take the short names and make them longer.
Yeah.
You call a guy named Wood, Woody. Call a guy named Orf, Orphy. Just kind of the way it goes. There's Woody, by the way.
What they call Saltalamacchia.
Salty.
Salty.
The great Keith Wood running camera. The high third camera.
Nice of him to make a road trip down here.
Woody's got some people, you know, he lives here.
Yeah.
And he's got some friends in the ballpark today.
I think he's in the West Valley.
Dan and Margie Surgis are here. Compliments of Keith Wood. There they are. Welcome, Dan and Margie. Helps when you know the camera guy. He knows right where you're at. 1 ball, 1 strike to Broxton. Broxton, his 3rd trip to the plate. He's 0 for 2. Ed Cedar, the third base coach, specifically asked for timeout so we could go through some signals here. Let's see if there's anything on. Nope. Broxton swings, and it's a base hit. He put the hit sign on, and Broxton delivered.
Hey, you never know. You figure at 3-1 count, you might send Orf, but I don't think first few days of spring training is the time to start stealing base. You don't see much of it. Right under the glove of Chang, or I should say, yeah, Chang at third base. That Brewers have something going.
Broxton, 1 for 3. Probably his final at bat. And that's going to bring Jesus Aguilar to the plate. Entered the game at first base last inning. Brewers got Aguilar, Dubon, and Johnny Davis. And Jacob Nottingham into the game last inning defensively. We were visiting with Eric Thames. Didn't have a chance to go through some of the changes, but we'll catch them here as they come to the plate for the first time. Aguilar, the former Indian. Brewers claimed him last year. No room at the big league level for Aguilar, who had a monster season 2 years ago for the Indians AAA ball club. And he was impressive last year. He did a nice job.
One of the best pinch hitters in the game last year.
And it all started here in the Cactus League last year. Had a huge spring training. Hit 7 homers. He hit his way onto the big league team.
And just kept hitting too.
Aguilar had spent his entire career with Cleveland until last season. Signed as a teenager. Was 18 when he started his pro career with Cleveland. Eventually climbed the ranks all the way to AAA. Made the big league roster 3 different years. Not a whole lot of playing time each of those 3 years. But he had some big seasons in the minor leagues with Cleveland. Big bouncing ball. And the play is at first and is late. Aguilar beats it out.
There you go, big fella.
Infield hit for Jesus Aguilar. And for a moment, that was close to being a ground ball that was going to be lost in the sun.
Yeah, no kidding. Hits it right in front of the plate, straight up into the air, and Aguilar beats it out for a base hit. No play on anybody.
Bringing the wheels to the party today. Aguilar. So the bases are loaded, and here is Mauricio Dubon, his first at bat. Slick fielding young shortstop the Brewers have. This guy's been impressive too. Love watching him play short.
Yeah.
He's right there with Arcia. I mean, there are a lot of comparisons to Arcia with Dubon, who came to the Brewers from the Red Sox. He was part of that Travis Shaw, Tyler Thornburg deal. And the Brewers feel like they got a steal in Dubon. He's performing very well on his trek through the Brewer minor league system.
And he made some incredible plays last spring when we saw him.
He's filled out a little bit.
Yeah, good hands, good throwing arm, good instincts.
A native of Honduras, the first from Honduras. Dubon still only 23. Council raves about the range of this young shortstop. He could play all over. Could certainly play third or second, has a strong arm. But for right now, he's a shortstop. Bases are loaded for him. Brewers trying to regain the lead as Dubon swings and misses. Down he goes. It's a strikeout for the first out of the inning.
One right down the middle of the plate, and Dubon swings right underneath it. We kind of threw it right by him.
So one away. Back to the top of the order, Jonathan Villar. 4th trip to the plate today for Villar. Has a hit. He's 1 for 2 with a walk. First ball swinging. Chance at 2. It's bobbled at short. A run is in to tie the game. What could have ended the inning. Castro bobbles and gets no one.
Brewers a very fortunate inning this inning. The only base hit was the one to Broxton, just out of the reach of Chang at third. Infield hits. Brewers looking to take advantage.
Give him an RBI. He'll reach on an E6. A run is in to tie the game at 5. And Willie Castro charged with the error. So 1 out. And up from minor league camp is Troy Stokes. I beg your pardon. This is Johnny Davis, who's in the game in center field. Troy Stokes is pinch running at first base for VR. First at bat for Johnny Davis. Speedy center fielder. The dead giveaways that you're up from minor league camp in a big league game is the double flap helmet and a number that is in the 90s.
And no name on the back.
But what an opportunity for some of these guys.
These guys don't care.
Every day, the big league team, or the A team for that particular day, will always bring a number of players from minor league camp. And you get into parts of the game like this where you make changes. They get in a game at the big league level. It is a thrill to be a part of it, and you're trying to leave a lasting impression so you can come back. Davis left. Broxton's going to tag. They got it, and the throw comes in late. Broxton scores. It's an RBI for Johnny Davis, and it gives the Brewers the lead.
That Brewers taking advantage of not very good throwing arms in left field. Ball kind of rolling on into Mejia. Brewers had the right guy.
Broxton scores the run that gives him the lead. 2 on for Kyle Wren now with 2 away. Indians should have been out of this inning with a double play ball, but an error has left the door open. Wren's another guy who played winter ball this offseason, went down to the Dominican. So he comes into spring training with a head of steam.
Head of the game, right? Get out here for winter time, keep playing.
Did a good job last year in Colorado Springs. It's his third year, I should say, in AAA. Hit 286 in AAA. Had 20 doubles last year at Colorado Springs. Drove in 62 runs. Hits that one high and deep to right center. And this will be caught to end the inning. Barnes runs it down. And the Brewers are down in the 6th, but they score twice. Have regained the lead. It's 6-5 Brew Crew. Our telecast today on Fox Sports Wisconsin, Sports Time Ohio as well. No matter where you are, you'll never miss a second of the action. MLB.TV Premium. Enjoy HD streams of all out-of-market games on over 400 different devices. Plus, you get a free MLB.com At-Bat Premium subscription when you sign up. I just re-signed up for mine yesterday.
Me too.
It's a must.
Me too.
New pitcher is John Perrin. Spent last year in AA Biloxi in the Southern League. On the big league mound here today with a 6-5 lead to work with.
They have a nice earned run average of 291 in Biloxi last year. 23 appearances, 12 of those starts, a 5-3 record. And if you looked at him just quickly, it looks like Tyler Clippard, doesn't he?
That's a good call. Tall, lanky right-hander.
Yeah.
And delivers a strike to get his day started. Tyler Naquin, a wave and a miss.
Nice slider.
Brewers have overhauled their entire lineup at this point. We'll take you around, show you who's where. All the starters are out. Lucas Ursig has entered the game at third base. Certainly a guy to watch. New shortstop is Dubon, who came on last inning. Nate Orff moved from third base to second base. And you saw Aguilar last inning at first. Perrin deals, and he misses inside. New right fielder is Stokes, who came in as a pinch runner. Troy Stokes, up from minor league camp. Get some time in right. Johnny Davis still in center. Second inning out there, and Wren took over for Braun in left field. He continues to play left. There's a swing and a miss. Gets by Nottingham. And Naquin's going to reach a strikeout. What a wild pitch. And the Indians have the tying run at first.
And Nottingham has been working very hard on his defense, and just a little bit late sliding over, not able to grab it, and Naquin reaches on the strikeout. That big slider from Perrin, not able to keep it in front.
Nottingham came in last inning, young catching prospect. Here is Eric Haas. His first at bat of the day. The name fits the image. Ooh, he's got a big swing. Cut it a miss. 27 bombs last year in the minors. It's not easy to hit that many home runs in a minor league schedule.
No, right?
It's only a 140 game schedule in the minor leagues. A season that, a regular season that would end at the end of August or into the first few days of September typically. Thus September call-ups in the major leagues. So when the minor league seasons end, generally that's when rosters expand at the major league level. 0-2 the count.
They've always come up with big hitters, haven't they, the Cleveland Indians over the years? That's a hitter's ballpark there.
Boy, it is easy to call on some names of the past in Cleveland, right? Yeah. Jim Thome's of the world, Manny Ramirez. Some great teams in the late 90s with our buddy Dave Nelson as first base coach. Those World Series teams. Swing and a miss. Haas strikes out.
That's a good slider he's got. Second strikeout, both on the slider. A late breaking slider. This time Nottingham able to smother it.
One away. 2 strikeouts for John Perrin.
Brewers
Mr. Smile.
Brewers have benefited for some of the big power. Mr. Smile, yeah. In the Indians organization, Richie Sexson, Jeremy Burnett.
Sure.
Some trades.
There's a lot of connections between the two organizations. None bigger than the CC Sabathia deal. And the best player for Cleveland in that deal, of the 4 that were traded for Sabathia, has been Michael Brantley. Matt Laporta at the time was thought to be the can't-miss prospect that the Indians got in return for Sabathia. Remember, Laporta was a first-round draft pick out of Florida.
Big right-handed hitter.
He was on his way. The Brewers were so enamored with Laporta as he was coming up, but then the trade went down, and Laporta surfaced in the big leagues but wasn't around long. No longer in baseball.
If you have a hole in your swing, they're going to find it, and find it quickly, and they're going to wear it out. It's not so much the case in the minor leagues where command control isn't as good.
Perrin facing Nelly Rodriguez, first at bat for the big first baseman. Runner at first, 1 away, and a check on that runner. Of course, there is another major tie-in with the Brewer manager of the Cleveland Indians. Craig Counsell broke their hearts in Cleveland with not only the World Series winning run that he scored as a member of the Marlins, but he also tied the game to send it to extra innings with a sacrifice fly of Jose Mesa. World Series star Renteria's base hit, scoring Counsell, and the Marlins defeated the Indians. One of his 2 World Series rings. Counsell has one with the Diamondbacks as well from 2001. There's a strike. Craig Counsell, what a memory. And this is the one from the Diamondbacks. Scored the World Series winning run as a member of the Marlins and D-backs, and he was on base in that game in 2001.
We're talking about a guy that got the most out of his abilities, huh? Craig Counsell.
Runner goes, pitch is up high for ball 4. And 2 men are on.
Smart player, is able to adjust, make adjustments. That's what makes him a good manager, understanding those things. One of many things that make him a good manager.
Still looks like a player. Still is heavily active in pregame drills and whatnot. Does not throw batting practice, but he is always seen around the field. He'll take throws at first base. He's constantly talking to guys. He'll take some ground balls. And
they were running the bases, the coaches were today.
Yeah, and Counsell will
infield drills.
He'll jump right in there and be a base runner. It has been a perfect marriage to this point. Craig Counsell, manager, general manager David Stearns, assistant general manager Matt Arnold, and of course the owner Mark Atanasio. And you have to have those connections from the top in your leadership. They have to all be on the same page and all connected, and so far they have been.
Yeah.
Stakes are a little higher this year, though, so this will be an interesting year to watch that dynamic. David Stearns, the Brewers GM, has ties to Cleveland. Once spent time in their front office. So yeah, there are a lot of connections between the two organizations. Chang strikes out. The third strikeout of the inning for John Perrin. The first one ended in a wild pitch, which allowed the runner to reach. He's going for the 4th strikeout inning here, tying a major league record.
And
in
no
the Cactus League.
no catcher wants to be a part of that record.
Even though it's scored as a wild pitch. Any catcher worth his salt.
Catchers will tell you, if they swing at it like that, you got to block them. 2 strikes, you got to block it. Yep. It rarely goes noticed when you do block those, because that's what you're supposed to do. But boy, everybody knows when they get by you.
Willie Castro committed the error last inning that opened the door for the Brewers. Sends it high in the air, center field. Davis is under it. He's got it. And that was an impressive inning by John Perrin. He did walk a batter, but he struck out 3. And we head to the bottom of the 7th. It is stretch time at Maryvale. Spring training baseball this afternoon. .com. You can check out a number of news items, including the Fox Sports Wisconsin Brewers TV schedule just announced today. So Rock will know when he's supposed to show up. Got a great photo gallery. I love the photo gallery from spring training. Did you get a chance to look at the TV schedule? Are you going to be a part of?
We're all good. Every Brewer game is going to be televised by somebody, if not us, right? All 162. Yay or nay?
Can't wait to get the season started.
That's true,
yeah,
right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you were asking.
I was asking for your
I thought you were just stating a
affirmation.
Fact. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Mostly I was trying to figure out who's pitching, and that would be Neil Ramirez.
Yeah, we spent time last year with the Giants and Mets.
I feel like we should have done that opposite. Because you knew Neil Ramirez was in the game. As Bethancourt, pinch hitting, swings at the first pitch and pops it up. Fighting with the sun is Castro, but he makes a catch for the out. Remember that for tomorrow. We'll have to ham and egg that a little bit better.
Rough season for him a year ago. And he spent time with the Cubs. A lot of time with the Cubs, the Brewers, Twins, Giants and Mets. He was with the Brewers 2 games in 2016.
Jacob Nottingham's first at bat, young catcher. Came to the Brewers a few seasons back from the Oakland Athletics. Had been with the Astros prior to that. Nottingham is a guy to watch. He's a young catcher, probably end up in AAA this year. A work in progress. Former football player at Arizona.
Yeah, he grinded away at his defense last year. Kind of a disappointing year at the plate for Jacob. He's trying to put it all together. Still young.
Hits that one deep into left center. That is way back. Goodbye. Jacob Nottingham with a booming home run to left center. 7-5 Brewers as Nottingham unloads.
And talking about dropping the head of the bat on a low fastball. Boy, oh boy. There it is, down and in. Look at the extension on it. A little bit of an uppercut. He knew it. That ball was smoked. Nottingham with his first home run this spring. No doubter.
7-5 Brewers here in the 7th. And here is Nate Orff, who drew a walk his first time up. Guy out there ran down that home run ball, gave it to the kid. Well done. Take home a souvenir. A Rob Manfred special. A strike to Orff. I'll tell you, Jacob Nottingham, if he puts the defensive part of catching together, and he's working with one of the best in the business in Charlie Green.
Right.
Brewers minor league catching coordinator. Green has had great success with a number of catchers in the system, including Jonathan Lucroy, most noteworthy Jonathan Lucroy. But Nottingham is a very intriguing figure in the Brewers system. Still only 23 years of age. It'll be his first year in AAA most likely. Second only to top level pitching is a high level catching prospect.
Right.
They are hard to find. Orff right on the barrel, deep into center, fighting the sun out there is Barnes, and he makes the catch for the second out.
He did a nice job out there in center field. Barnes shading his eyes, or shading the sun with his hands, and calling it in. Pretty sweet sunglasses out there. Big style points.
There's an old Lucroy jersey. Still a lot of Lucroy fans in Milwaukee. Jonathan is still unsigned.
I know, he hadn't signed, right? Surprising.
Ended up with the Rockies last year. Traded from the Brewers to the Rangers, was part of the playoff team in Texas 2 years ago, and then traded from the Rangers to the Rockies last year. Was in the playoffs a season ago with Colorado. They were defeated by the Diamondbacks in the wild card game. Lucas Ursig, first at bat. Good looking young hitter.
A lot of guys unsigned in baseball right now, those free agents. Major League Players Association put together a spring training for those guys.
Little flare, that's going to fall for Ursig. You're going to see this guy in the big league soon.
Yeah, this guy can hit.
He put on a show last year. He had only played in single A. He was in big league camp, and he lit it up. Hit a couple of long home runs. One of them was at the Indians facility in Goodyear. He hit one up on top of this patio deck. One of the longest home runs ever hit in that ballpark. He's at first for Aguilar. And he swings to the first pitch, a base hit. Second hit of the day for Aguilar. He's 2 for 2.
Well, they're not letting fastballs get by, are they? Ramirez with a good breaking pitch. You got a change up to go with it. So if you don't want to deal with that, this is what you do. Attack that first fastball. That one down in the zone and out over the plate.
Two on for Dubon. Brewers lead at 7-5. What do you think about this camp? I know a lot of players have agents that, for example, the Boris group, they have facilities where a lot of the Boris clients will train, but there is probably a little bit of this communal piece to getting in camp with other big leaguers to keep yourself ready.
Facing live pitching, playing games. I guess there's enough guys down there, right, to do that.
Could make up your own team there with those guys.
And,
and a pretty good one.
Somebody makes a call and you'll be ready. It's one thing to do that on your own. You hit the cage, you hit live off of a pitcher somewhere, and if you have actual game speed, it's not like regular spring training. But these guys are feeling as though they're going to get jobs at some point this spring, and they want to be ready. There's some good players out there.
A lot of good players unsigned at this point. Jake Arrieta being one of them. The next biggest piece on the pitching side of the free agents. Lance Lynn is out there as well.
It's not that teams don't think they can compete. It's just the money.
Well, a strikeout to end the inning, but the Brewers get another run on the board. Big Jacob Nottingham, the young catcher, launches one out of here. And he gives the Brewers a 2-run lead. It's 7-5 Milwaukee. 7 in the books at Maryville. Of the Brewers. Maryville Baseball Park, home of the Brewers. Radimus Lees is on the mound for Milwaukee.
Man, saw him with the Pittsburgh Pirates a couple of years ago. 2015, 14 games. Guy with a pretty good arm, just got to throw strikes.
And 2 quick strikes. Drew Maggi, first at bat for him. Maggi came into the game to play second base. Former Arizona State Sun Devil. Brewers bench coach Pat Murphy, longtime coach at Arizona State. Notre Dame prior to that, which is where his connection to Craig Counsell started. Counsell played for Murphy at Notre Dame, and Murphy ends up, after his days at Arizona State, in the pro ranks, in the minor leagues with the Padres, and then managed the big league Padres team after they let Bud Black go.
Enjoyed Murph today in pre-game workouts, doing some infield fundamentals. He gets them riled up, doesn't he? Pat Murphy has a good time with it, barking out comments.
3-2 pitch, fouled away.
Nothing boring about infield drills with Pat Murphy out there.
I always ask Pat, now the dynamic has flipped between you and Craig Counsell, and what's it like for you when you make a suggestion and he's not really feeling it? He goes, oh, he lets me know quickly. There's no doubt who's in control. That ball's hammered deep into right center field. Johnny Davis has to go over his head. And Maggi is into second base with a double. Comes with 2 strikes.
Gabe having a pretty good ride, almost as if it looked like Davis lost it in the sun out there. Watch him take an angle. It's a good angle. Arms up. I guess he lost it perhaps. Or maybe he's trying to deke the runner, not sure.
Tough to play the fly balls here.
High sky today.
And the way the sun sets, at least this time of the day, I mean, he's looking right into the setting sun this time of year. The positioning of this ballpark has the sun right behind home plate, which can be a challenge. Got a good glisten on the chains, though.
Yeah.
Must be a 2 Chainz fan. There's a strike from Lee's.
What's that?
2 Chainz. Don't know who 2 Chainz is.
Help me out.
He's an artist, a recording artist.
Okay.
And I see 2 Chainz. Maybe think of. You
Two
gotta
Chainz.
Google that, Rock. Spell with a Z, though.
I will. You know, when I get home tonight, first thing I'm going to do.
It's not on your Spotify list. Nottingham wants to talk it over.
You got all the jargon down, don't you? You can speak to the kids or young people. Spotify.
I'm all in on Spotify. You'd love it. Music, just any kind of playlist you want.
I'm going to look that up too tonight.
You need to make that part of your daily routine. You being a big country guy, I know you could load up your favorite country acts and just play them for you. Maybe one day when you invite us over to your house. Still waiting on that invitation.
That's right. You didn't come to that big party.
12 years later.
I had a big party in December.
On the one weekend I was gone. Not by coincidence.
It's like Pete Vukovich always says, I have your schedule.
Hey, haven't seen you in a while. That's right. I have your schedule.
What a guy.
Pete says a lot of things that get us laughing.
Yeah.
That's probably the only thing we can say on the air.
Little Vuk.
Has Vuk ever been in consideration as a fantasy camp coach?
I've asked him, yeah.
How'd that go?
He very polite. He said, you know, I appreciate the invite, but no thank you. You know, that's okay. You know,
Sure.
I hate the guys that just string you along for 3 months.
Right,
you
right.
know?
Just trying to tell you what you want to
At least
hear.
you know where he stands.
Got to be honest.
Right.
It's the year of honesty.
There's nothing wrong with no. You need to learn that.
I know.
The booth visits.
That's a good call. Too many people in the booth.
Yeah. Now we're all guilty.
As they're always asking me,
I know.
I'd really love to meet Bill Schroeder. Well, come on. Come on up.
Yeah.
Andy Diaz at the plate for Cleveland. 95% sure this is his first at bat. Could be wrong. Second at bat. See, the 5% won out. Swinging a foul out of play. How's your scorebook?
Pretty good. I mean, I think it's up
Looks
to date.
tight. You're doing it in pen too,
Yeah,
which
right.
is impressive.
Yeah, well,
That's confidence. It's like doing a crossword in pen. I'm going pencil. I don't have that faith. I've already gone through 2 erasers today. 3-2 pitch. Foul ball out of play. We are 31 days away from opening day.
isn't that something?
The Brewers will open in San Diego against the Padres on the 29th of March. Cleveland will open on the road in Seattle at Safeco Field on the 29th of March.
Interesting that that series in San Diego, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Travel day on Sunday on Easter, with opening day right after that.
A Sunday off day. Bouncing ball to Dubon. He's got it for the out. Diaz retired, 1 away.
Next batter, number 13, Brandon Barnes.
Can't remember the last time that there was an off day on the weekend in big league baseball. That just doesn't happen. I think it might be a first.
Falls on Easter. It's one of the 4 additional off days. It's one of the reasons why spring training games started so early.
That's a good move. You can't extend the season any later in the year. Can't go into too deep into October. I don't think the guys mind getting started early.
Brandon Barnes for Cleveland with 1 out, runner at third. In the late game scenario with a lot of minor league players getting a chance on the big league spring training field. This is the part of the game when the grind is on.
Yeah.
You see a lot deeper pitch counts, pitchers grinding, hitters grinding. Feels more like the pace and rhythm of a regular season game. These players are working hard to impress.
You can see the issue with Rodimus Lees. I mean, he's got a good arm. He's just very inconsistent in throwing the ball over the plate. Been an issue for him throughout his career, and kind of what you're seeing today.
And a swing and a miss. 2-2. Brewers are going to carry 8 relievers. That is a fact. Craig Counsell made that declaration before games even began. So there are going to be 8 relievers to start the year and for the foreseeable future. A swing and a miss, a strikeout for Lees.
See that live fastball? I mean, that's what we're talking about. He's got a great arm. Just a matter of being able to put it where he wants it. That one had a little late movement going in on Barnes. Got it right by him.
Ate him up.
Yeah.
And so 2 outs with a runner at third. Rob Refsnyder, the Indians' right fielder, now took over for Chisenhall, and he sends one that way. Towering fly ball. Stokes will make the catch. The inning is over, and Lees gets through the 8th unscathed. 7-5 Brew Crew. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Just on the left, you could barely see the general manager, Matt Arnold, all the way on the far right. As they evaluate their players. Still a lot of work to be done here. Many feel like the Brewers are not done pursuing free agents or potential trades as they try to bolster the ball club. We'll see. A lot of time for that. New pitcher is Alexi Ogando, the former Ranger. He'll get the bottom of the 8th inning, barring a comeback by the Indians. This will be the final innings that Terry Francona has to pick up for the Tribe. Brewers with the lead, 7-5. And a big swing and a miss to start the inning from Troy Stokes.
There's a big league arm right here with Ogando. Just nice and easy. Ball just gets on you quickly.
Pitched in Korea last year. And a strike. Troy Stokes, a 20-homer season last year in the big leagues. Came in as a pinch runner. Not a whole lot of spots open in that Indians bullpen. They have a surplus of starters. You figure there's a strikeout for Ogando. I figure there's maybe 1 or 2 spots to compete for, but a lot of names. I mean, they've had so much success the last couple of years, it's hard to break into that position. Ogando coming from Korea, though. He's hoping to show Terry Francona and pitching coach Carl Willis that he belongs back in the big leagues.
He's been with the Rangers, the Red Sox, the Braves. Highly touted prospect with the Rangers back in the day.
Johnny Davis at the plate for the Brewers. And the Indians, their back into the bullpen is about as good as it gets. Cody Allen closing. Andrew Miller is one of the best relievers in the game, whatever role he's in. He's actually in a role that is named after him. You can go to any club right now in spring training, Florida or Arizona, and I guarantee you there is a pitcher in their bullpen that is in the Andrew Miller role. And for the Brewers, it's Josh Hader. Can pitch in any role, can pitch late game scenarios, can come in early in a game. Valuable piece.
Give you 2-3 innings, right?
Davis rolls out, 2 outs in the inning. That's a common question you would hear. Who's in the Andrew Miller role for your team? That's what kind of impact Andrew Miller has had on the game of baseball the last few years.
Game has changed so much, hasn't it? Emphasis on bullpen these days. They become more and more important every year. Those relievers. Those are the guys that got all the money in the offseason.
That's right. A lot of those middle to late relievers, they call them leverage relievers, guys who would pitch in close games, important games. They're the ones getting the contracts,
right?
The multi-year deals. Brewers signed Matt Albers in that role. 2-year deal for Matt Albers.
Right.
Who was a non-roster invitee last year at Washington. That's how it can change. Kyle Wren batting for the 3rd time today. Singled his first time up. Getting some good time in a big league game backing up Ryan Braun this afternoon. Braun started in left his first game of the spring, went 1 for 1, single and a walk, scored a run. Actually, Wren scored that run. Technically, he was the pinch runner. But Braun getting his Cactus League schedule started today. Two outs in the inning. Wren trying to keep the inning alive, and that one just missed. Been a lot of rumors about potential trade partners between the Brewers and the Indians. Indians are searching for outfield help and have a surplus of pitching, and just the opposite for the Brewers.
Right.
You never know. Ogando, an impressive inning. 2 strikeouts, goes 1, 2, 3. Last call for the Tribe. We're headed to the 9th inning. 7-5 Brewers. Close it out today.
They got a 2-run lead here in the 9th inning. Davis had some big league time with the Nationals, appeared in 10 games. Yeah, that was back in 2013. Last year in the minor leagues with the Diamondbacks, 53 games, a .438 earned run average, and a pretty good 8-2 record. More strikeouts than innings pitched for Eric Davis.
Eric with a K. You think of Eric Davis, you think of Eric the Red.
Right.
Former Cincinnati Red star. Eric Davis is one of those guys that the Brewers front office likes from the numbers, the analytics. And he's going to get a chance to close this one out today. Second time we've seen him this spring. Tyler Naquin struck out his last time up, but did reach. It was a wild pitch. It was an impressive inning by John Perrin in that inning. Struck out 3 in a scoreless frame. Brewers have gotten good work. Junior Guerra started this game. Pitched 2 innings, gave up a run. Suter was very impressive in his 1 inning. A 3-up, 3-down inning. Went through it quickly.
Pitching so far for the Crew has been pretty good down here first week. Guys are throwing strikes, not a lot of walks.
Can be a very difficult place to pitch, Arizona. Ball flies. It's hard to spin the curveballs. A lot of times pitchers tell you it's the dry climate. They have a tough time getting a a good grip,
Ball's
firm
a
grip.
slick.
Yeah, it's a little slick.
Not a lot of humidity here. But everybody has to deal with it.
That goes into evaluation. Those who do that for a living will tell you. When you see spring training numbers, whereas in the Grapefruit League in Florida, they're pretty true. Here in Arizona, you kind of take an accounting. That's why it's important to get eyes on players. You can't just look at the numbers here. It's all part of the picture. Can't beat the weather, though. And the proximity between the teams. That's the real benefit of Arizona spring training. No long road trips, no overnights.
Right. Well, and the longest trip probably is going to be an hour, right?
What's that, Mesa to Surprise,
Right.
probably?
Yeah, we think.
Yeah, the Cubs and the A's down to where the Royals and the Rangers train would be the longest trip, and that's about an hour.
Yeah. That's no traffic.
Or 4 hours, depending on what time of day. Swing and a miss. Naquin strikes out. Davis took something off and had him way out in front.
Check it out. Changeup. Dandy. It's right where you want it, down in the zone.
Good looking pitch. He's interesting, and when you watch him throw, how far back he reaches before he starts his forward motion to throw a baseball. I'm guessing as a hitter, you almost get a glimpse of the baseball down underneath. Like, remember how Rick Sutcliffe used to throw and
Yeah.
he'd hook the arm?
It kind of hooked the wrist a little bit.
That is way back there.
He's got poise out there in the mound from the little we've seen him. Stays under control.
Did he go? He did. And it's quickly 0-2 on Eric Haas.
Well, he saw a good changeup. He's got a live fastball. That time a breaking ball, a slider or curve ball, whatever he wants to call it.
See what he has in mind. He's looking for a Cactus League save today. What do you get for that?
Pat on the back.
Get the ball, keep the ball, put it on your mantle.
You get an attaboy from the skipper, the big league skipper,
That's
right?
all you're really looking for.
So that's better than anything.
It's more than we've gotten in the last few years.
You got to deserve those.
1-2. We get an attaboy from Craig Counsell when we don't bug him with questions. Thanks for not bothering me today. Attaboy.
He loves the first couple of weeks of spring training. I never bother him.
No.
I mean, you ask him something, I don't know yet.
What are you going to ask him?
Nothing. What's your rotation going to be? Who's going to play second base?
And you notice we subtly had Sophia interview Craig on our last telecast. That was by design. Managers in high demand this time of year. The hours that these guys spend, the coaching staff and the manager and the minor league coaches, that they're spending organizing all these players and the timing of it all, it's incredible.
To say nothing about the training staff and the clubhouse personnel. A lot going on.
Haas draws the walk. And the tying run will bat. A one-out walk. Ed Cedar is the camp coordinator, the Brewers' third base coach. He's responsible for putting the plan together. Most players are here by 8 a.m. usually. Most coaches are here By what, 6:30,
Yeah,
7 o'clock?
I mean, they get their own workouts in before the guys show up. That's why I see them all in such good shape.
Well, you've heard of two-a-days. For a baseball coach this time of year, at this level, it's more like 5-a-days. You do your own workout, and then there's the planning part, and then there's the first wave of drills and whatnot. Then there's the batting practice part. Then there's the game part.
Yeah.
And then there's the post-game meeting to set up the next day part.
And the game part's the easiest. I
That's
was
nap time.
I was along the right field line where Eddie was putting his guys through some drills, the outfielders, and Lorenzo Cain in the dugout, and he said, "Let's go. It's time to go." I said, "Don't we get a break?" He said, Eddie said that Lorenzo, your break was signing with the Brewers. Is that beautiful?
0-2 pitch up high for a ball.
It was interesting. He was throwing this, this plastic ball. It looked like it was almost square. So he was rolling it to him.
It looked like a half-eaten sandwich.
Yeah, right. I mean, so they were working on, bad hops, I guess.
That's right.
Keeping yourself balanced so that, this baseball, if you want to call it, this round ball, kind of taking crazy hops
Yeah.
on, and they were catching them. It's amazing the stuff that they do now.
It's a kind of a crazy ball, but it's a square ball, which
Doesn't roll really true.
right. It's like, like a small football almost, trying to field a small football. It's a good training tool. I like that. I was watching that myself.
Right.
What they do to big leaguers here to try to make them look bad is entertaining.
Well, they prepare them for any eventuality, right? Bad hops or whatever. That's what that was all about. They were coming in hard, like they were going to get a base hit and make a throw, and this ball is bouncing all over the place. They got to make adjustments.
My favorite is when they get the jugs gun out to shoot up fly balls.
Yeah.
Higher than any fly ball will ever be hit. There's another walk.
And Davis lost home plate.
So 2 on now here in the 9th inning. I mean, they set up so Ed Cedar will put his outfielders directly in the line of the sun. This is all before batting practice when they're doing different drills. And he'll set up this jugs gun. The ball's got to be coming out of there at 120 miles an hour.
Right.
And it goes, it would hit the roof at Miller Park, probably higher than that. And watching these guys try to corral these fly balls makes you feel good about your amateur self. Then you realize what they're actually trying to do.
So visualize that and think 30 years ago in spring training where they position that jugs gun down to block pitches.
Oh,
yeah.
Yikes.
Oh, we did that.
Wow.
Without a glove.
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
With a real baseball?
Yeah, it was a much harsher baseball back then. I mean.
Is that how you got your nickname, Rock?
Remember, without a glove.
There's a drive deep to left field, and it one hops out of here for a ground rule double, which is actually break for the Brewers. Chang has made this a 1-run game. It's an RBI double.
It had a little top spin on it. That's why it stayed in the ballpark. He hit it well. One of those humpback liners. Some top spin on that baseball as it got to the outfield. And one hops the wall. Not sure if a run was going to score the tying run, but a break at least for the time being.
So a base hit here, and the Indians could regain the lead. Willie Castro at the plate. Well, Davis came out quickly, struck out Naquin, but has lost the strike zone. 2 walks, now a double, and a 7-6 game. On the ground, Aguilar's got it, looks the runner back, throws to second. Got him in a run down there. The game could end. The tag is on him before the run scores. It ends the inning and ends the game. Oh, a thrilling end to that one. That was a risky move by Dubon, but he fetched the runner before the run scored.
Yeah, not by much either. I guess the logical play, the one you would have thought about was, Dubon throwing the ball home. That would have been the easy play. Now he's got to outrun the runner going to third before the run scores, and he's able to do it.
Just got him. And the game ends with that tag by Mauricio Dubon. And Davis picks up the save. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this. The Brewers beat the Indians this afternoon 7-6.